lọ́sàn Ramadan. Ojú mi ti rí lọ́sàn Ramadan. Wọ́n kó jẹ wá mi ò ní lè jẹ. Wọ́n kó mi wá mi ò ní lè mú o. Àgbà tó lómi lókè pariwo mo ti ń gbà rẹ̀.
The Ghana Insider.
Barasa de Kala.
My friend, get out.
Asamala meko. Alumasa. Asamala meko. Alumasa. Asamala meko. Alumasa. Asamala meko.
Láàrí tí tó mùsùlùmí ẹ̀dìndín lẹ́gẹ̀gẹ̀ ń wò lọ́sàn Ramadan. Ojú mi ti rí lọ́sàn Ramadan. Wọ́n kó jẹ wá mi ò ní lè jẹ. Wọ́n kó mi wá mi ò ní lè mú o. Àgbà tó lómi lókè pariwo mo ti ń gbà rẹ̀.
The Ghana Insider.
Barasa de Kala.
My friend, get out.
Asamala meko. Alumasa. Asamala meko. Alumasa.
Peace. Mutia seven mukoka mekani John. John take ate Germany take ate kokate unia mama se wato ye koko na sika kemu Missy John take ate Germany take ate kokate unia mama se wato ye koko na sika kemu so ye John na Yeni Damania, Yeni Kokase Unia Mama se Wato ye koko na sika kemu so ye Jona Yeni Damania, Yeni Kokase Unia Mama se Wato ye koko na sika kemu. Peace, Adamuso Marie, thank you. Don't be. Peace, Mutia seven mukoka mekani John. John take ate Germany take ate kokate unia mama se wato ye koko na sika kemu Missy John take ate Germany take ate kokate unia mama se wato ye koko na sika kemu so ye John na yeni Germany yeni kokate unia mama se wato ye koko na sika kemu so ye
President one the friend the big house one. What will I open? What Nazi? I worked for 4 years here. Then, in the bank and for my baby. We are in a Ghana for the I will be on the year. And a Ghana for it. In the car, you will be ready. And then, and your job at Tiana. And a good for the headache. Every year, I put that national. What can you get from you? What can you get from you? Some of me are near identity. And yes, I'm 8 years. What would I pray? I can't hear that in 4 years. Another Ghana for the empathy. Saka 4 years a year. That you 4 years. That you hear that.
Entry.
What by I am quite some more day. Will be a water parliamentary weather. Just a 4 years. Changing would be. Walk at your 4 seconds. Cool, no dear. Oberto. Thank you. Now, Oberton 30 something, 40, I think 50. Oh, now the one about the water good on my end. Now I got them out 1 million. 30 million.
So, to me, a munyansa, Echo Bobosia, editor playing a real machine. Now, to me, munyansa, Enko Bobosia, and from Bo. A queer phone so much, said ya, and you're not about to do it. No, I'm a play now to Abama. Play now to me, you. Every play I would war. Dear said you, a timid them. Now, you're an office work woman. A do what every play back or then to Abama. Now, Nikuma Subwa said, you ain't PBC 4, Cocoa Cratch 4, one to Cocoa no, no, they are come Cocoa board. And she shared for a long time to stood the time of time, said 21 days, I see a PBC and a cocoa cratchy for car. And when was some bonny any time papa was here, so only man penny or decaying. PBC for to cocoa a year, Bosume Baku me numiansa and nine and num and song on tia PBC for a car. I just said, Omu dear, Nipa no mukum no. Ye twa wo mu kra ne se na sen tomati okuwa kratam obae ono de ope so dodo no ho owiem wo aeroplane wato aeroplane baako mienu miensa enan baako kra de ese yetimi dware wo mu ne yire ne busuafo mu dware wo plane mu owiem ebufuo sa be hye ye minimu se tie nie na Chaboy, Mubeka ya, Sabio, ya catch them. Ghana for, ya bomb coco. Ya catch them, papa way. Samutu abamana, or the Sabion penny monimo, or the nanini and nini, or the baba. One tier, ya can't back one tier, ni me and so one tier, the impressor so one tier. 20 and your woman to couple. Nemo mpeni se achia sina bebuo nyina ye de ye mpeni tutu mpeni noa 6,000 now kan so betua na ye moanan se 6,000 untimi ntua ekufa do bo no fama ye
Cocoa board I have to say, in spite of all the challenges I want, all the interventions I have work cocoa farmers, you because why? In fact, you best supply free fertilizer. You best supply free insecticide. The number can say no. You procure 27,000 spraying machine, motorized spraying machines. You they break your phone. Now over them cocoa. You give me at all about 89,000 PPs. Yeah, gloves. And Tadia overalls, Wellington boots, you're quite cool. Nah, ya talk, I had never break your phone. After I buy and say, your mama they say, a son they say, ya free a friend saying SHS in Timo. So scholarship now, they might have your phone man. Young fan tertiary, near free scholarship for cocoa farmers, children who are in tertiary education. Our universities, friends, training college. And no, you have two committees, you are committee in the year where you might enter from the home and somewhere about the trigger. Then also, the support the cocoa farmers. I buy a catcher and they say, cocoa board, young cocoa. So now, Yanja, Minister of Roads and Highways, not also there, and roads and highways. And I buy a further rationalization of the cocoa contracts. I buy Jimu Fakasia na cocoa board in some say, or they call now, or they are Minister of Highways, Roads and Highways. Now, or there's a big push, Nasi, moment to you. Send a bear cocoa board, you come here by there, every buffer, yet you have cocoa. I buy a cycle as part of policy measures. Cocoa now, you swan the free, Friday say, the take a ship breast one basis abri, you swan raw cocoa, yeah, the whole comma. One more, no more attend cocoa, no more just to finished product. No, I buy it from next year. No, yeah, more than say 50% of the cocoa now. Yeah, supply. No, you be processing organ through secondary products. You buy powder, you buy cake, you buy chocolate, you buy the you buy amaya add value to cocoa. Yeah, the sir. You be creating a jumanso. I'm for a month and about Friday.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I think that let us be clear. I did not just rise on my own. The Speaker of the House asked a specific question, and Honorable Minority Leader, I'm a member of this House, and I have maximum respect for leadership. So, playing to the gallery with some of the comments you made are very unfortunate. But let's be clear, I did not rise to object to government business. The Speaker of the House, and sometimes when you're in the chair, you should pay attention to business in the House. The Speaker in the chair asked the question, anybody with an objection So I didn't rise on my own. I rose in response to the question the speaker asked. I caught his eye and he gave me the floor. So I didn't just rise on my own. So it's important that we set the record straight. It's going into the Hansard. There are people you play to the gallery with. We have our banter when we have to. But when it's on the record is the record. And so if you're asking me to redraw what? Are you asking the speaker to redraw his question if there was anybody in opposition? The speaker asked that question and I rose on it. And let us state for the fact that your people have asked questions. For those of you who have just come to Parliament and haven't paid attention to even the orientation, you make the noise. But you see, no. First timers who didn't pay attention. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister responsible for communication.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
What you have to withdraw is if the questions are not taken, you wouldn't be able to come back and answer them.
Mr. Speaker, the very individuals who asked the questions, I said the questions have been invited to answer, for which I've sat in the chamber for 2.5 hours, are time bound. The individuals who have even filed the question are not in the chamber. And so I'm saying to you that, Mr. Speaker,
all you need to do is to wait when it gets to the time and we call the question. And the individuals are not here to ask the question. Then whoever is presiding at that material moment will give the necessary directions. That is what happened. But I'm not also comfortable of the statement that if the questions are not handled for today, you will not be able to come back and answer the questions.
A moment ago, the Honorable Minister made a statement to the effect that me urging upon him to withdraw a rather unfortunate statement amounted to playing to the gallery. He went on further to use his left hand to point at some colleagues at the back bench, claiming that they have just come and they should go and learn the rules. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Sam George indeed is a colleague member of Parliament. But he knows, and I know, that once you become a Minister of State, you hold an elevated position. And no matter what, all of us must accord that rank the needed respect. I find what he just directed at my backbench unfortunate. With the left hand, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, there is a good reason why you have a front bench. That in all difficulties and dangers, as you see them, you engage so that we all resolve. Even if they were wrong, you are a Minister of State. Even if you saw anything wrong, you don't use your left hand to attack a colleague in the chamber. That's exactly what you did. Mr. Speaker, anyway, that thing that we cherish melts, and it melts with time. I rest my case.
And so, for those who are engaged in mobile money fraud, they are part of the people who will be on social media today saying that this registration must not happen. Because we will be able to block every SIM card that was not registered by the real owner of the Ghana card will not be able to go through this process. And that's why we're refusing to do a wholesale transfer of what has been already registered. Because if you do that, you transfer all the fraudulently acquired cards. If the card is yours, Nana, it's no longer for phone, your registration. If we've brought comfort of this level and technology to serve you at this level, and you still say you don't want to register, then we must ask you why you don't want to register. What is it that you are running away from? So I'm not expecting everybody to register, but I believe that every law-abiding citizen who genuinely acquired their SIM card will take advantage of the process to register.
The reason why there's the need to take a closer look at Ghana's compensation at that. The 2025 non-oil tax revenue of 183 billion Ghana cedis was only enough to pay for statutory transfers and debt service. After paying statutory funds such as District Assembly Common Fund, Get Fund, National Health Insurance, and debt service, what was left was not enough to settle Ghana's compensation bill. In fact, government of Ghana had to borrow 17 billion Ghana cedis to augment the compensation bill. Your Excellency, I thank you.
And the NDC will not spend recklessly. We will spend according to what we have. If you do not have it, don't overborrow. Because if you overborrow, you will give people haircut. And that is what we have spent. We have stopped. So, Mr. Speaker, we will not overborrow. We will spend within the budget and we'll do what we have to do. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
After paying for statutory funds and debt service from non-oil tax revenue of 183 billion Ghana cedis, what was left was not enough to settle Ghana's compensation bill. This also means that government of Ghana had to borrow 17 billion Ghana cedis to pay Ghanaian workers.
So currently, there's an agitation. The number of people who applied to be taken into the forced work are far, like Kabila said, more than the available vacancies. Naturally, if you are disqualified, won't you agitate? If me, Basentali, I applied and they disqualified me, like today, I'll just be insulting everybody and walking. Because right now, it is natural that as a human being, when you apply for something and you don't get, there will be agitation. So the MPP, they have gone to stagger. Now that they have seen that, oh, the NDC people, it seems they are attacking each other, then they are sprinkling kerosene. But you see, NDC too, we are smart. And yesterday, I deliberately read comments under a few posts of agitation. When you find NDC agitating and an MPP person comes to comment, your leaders are selfish, I saw the same NDC person come and write under, keep quiet, go and focus on your barrier. Number one, MPP has a strategy. Their strategy is to buy kerosene and put it down. When within us we start lighting small fire, then they'll be sprinkling the kerosene, and then the fire will just be booming, and we'll be biting ourselves. When we're going to Ayawasu East, nobody thought we could mobilize the youth to come and support the party, because of course there will always be internal agitations.
Straja vodwo for enyuma kese wo Ghana. Emrase sa ban efa wo bi adwuma se wo medi sa adwuma ne ma oman a aban ma obi contract ho a yemamu na obi biara owo nimdie na owo capacity so obetimi aye sa adwuma. We should give that person the opportunity to compete. TFR be competitive tendering. Ma ho kwan na obi amepre adwuma ni bi. De obetimi aye adwuma ni yie o man no benya so mfaso abra o man ne bebo kakakra bi ne de ama no. But wo hwe de ekoso wo bawomia ene o mampenya kufu ado amamwo yimu a ye wo contrast akese bebre a aban de ma bawomia nuanom a ye ma ho kwan se obi amepre bi ye si peg aso ye de sika toto so a o man ne hwe sika titiri dia, you will weep for Ghana as we move along.
To us is how can global phenomena skip Cote d'Ivoire and all the surrounding countries and only attack Ghana? How does it happen? The question that you have to ask is how can global phenomena skip Cote d'Ivoire and all the surrounding countries and only attack Ghana? How does it happen? The question that
Ukraine-Russia war. Now Ukraine-Russia omokwa efa ya Ghana for efa ya hube. Yeah, it's your baby. Ukraine-Russia war. What's not play mu now? Cause we call Ukraine. Ufi Accra 7,000 kilometers and San Wakodru. No more common tokwa. Then say Yesikasem. Na Cote d'Ivoire and some Kase. Say Russia, Ukraine, no more. And so
a few moments later,
Ghana is not immune from the shocks of global events. Recent events in the Middle East, which involve an exchange of missiles between Israel and Iran, have started to escalate crude oil prices dramatically.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now. Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Hello, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro. It's always a pleasure to come your way. It's a beautiful Monday morning. This indeed is the day the Lord has made. Indeed, we're glad in it. I want to say a big thanks to the Almighty Allah for making it possible for us to return here to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that are making the rounds in our dear country, Ghana. And I say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And I also want to say, Eid Mubarak to our Muslim friends and colleagues and family relatives who are watching the show this morning. And I can only say that may Allah accept our ibadah and may Allah make it, may Allah grant us our wishes, our desires. And we're also grateful that at least we have stayed alive and kicking to be able to participate in this year's Ramadan fast, and also to participate in the Eid al-Fitr. And so I want to say a big thanks to the Almighty Allah. We're grateful. We say a big thanks to you as well. Today is a holiday, as you do know. It's a special day for Muslims. We've been given one extra holiday. We're grateful to the government for this honors. The reason is that in the past, where we were, we had to do everything in a day, and so there was a bit of an inconvenience. So it was posing a bit of an inconvenience, but now things are a bit more relaxed. And today, there's lots of homes that will be organizing, I'm sure, some little get-togethers and parties and so on. And I'm told there's all kinds of carnivals in town today. But I can only urge the participants that please exercise moderation in whatever it is that you do, because we need you alive and kicking. The biggest asset that this country has is this human resource. We call it human capital. And so please don't overindulge. Just be modest and be moderate in your enjoyment or in your celebration. Let me rather put it that way today. So that's it. So once again, Eid Mubarak. We say it in Hausa, barka mu da sallah, Allah mai mata muna, Allah kai mu sabon shekara. All right. So today, the papers are not out. That's the fact of the matter. The papers are not out. But the online portals are reporting different things. Different online portals are reporting different things. And so I'll go with, I'll start with Major Online this morning. Major Online this morning says that Joy Ghana Fest 2026 ends in color, culture, and celebration at Achimota Mall. And also, there's a Mahama to lead Ghana's delegation to UN Special Session on Reparatory Justice. You cannot run an economy without crisis. Tekwe wants Ghana must prepare or pay. The City Newsroom this morning is reporting that artist Ibrahim Mahama cancels global lectures over assault injuries. Now, I got wind of this information sometime yesterday, must have been yesterday or so. I got a bit incensed. But the cause of this assault or this incident is still not very clear. Whether it was the Red Maria, now called, we don't have any Black Maria anymore, whether the Red Maria assaulted him, or this was an entirely different matter or an entirely different incident that has put Ibrahim Mahama in this very unfortunate situation. I'm not talking Ibrahim Mahama, the businessman. I'm talking Ibrahim Mahama, the artist or the artist. Globally recognized and globally acclaimed. He's been on CNN, he's been on the BBC, he's been on Al Jazeera. So he's a global icon. In fact, just recently, the government made him an ambassador in order to champion some of the fantastic stuff that he's been doing in Ghana. So I honestly don't know. The picture's not very clear. There's been a statement which has been issued by the police, but that's just one side of the story. I want to hear from Ibrahim Mahamad's side as well as to what exactly happened. And I think that there must be some bipartisan investigations to this matter. We need to get to the bottom of this. This clearly, would dent Ghana's image, because it will raise issues about human rights, etc. We don't want to be in the global eye this way. So I think that there has to be some, a commission of inquiry to look into exactly what happened to Ibrahim Mahama. It's terrible. It's dastardly. It's unfortunate. It's untenable. It is unacceptable. And we need to get to the bottom of this Ibrahim Mahama incident. Again, I repeat, it's not Ibrahim Mahama, the businessman, Ibrahim Mahama, the artist. We need to really, really get to the bottom of it. I mean, just look at this. He was actually admitted and his life was in danger. He could have easily, God forbid, he could have lost his life as a result of what had happened. I mean, if you know this man, he's a very cool, very relaxed, very calm, like we say, it's in Chion Penwasep. So why would you do this to such a man? Don't be surprised if very soon the international media picks up this matter and have a thorough conversation about it. That's no good for Ghana. So we need to really get to the bottom of this matter and get to know exactly the perpetrators and bring them to book and punish them severely for this, Anyway, so that's with City Newsroom. There's a Middle East crisis. Ghana must strengthen long-term energy security. That's PHTC. Deeply troubling. Tourism Minister reacts to alleged Ibrahim Mahama assault. Mahama heads to New York for UN address on slavery remembrance. There's government misses T-bill target by 1.3 billion cedis as yields increase slightly. Now there's a MetroTVOnline.com that says that security services recruitment medical screening begins April 7. Applicants are urged to ignore fraudsters. There's also officiating getting worse because of VAR, according to Shearer. Alan Shearer is the man I'm talking about. There's Ghana pushes UN to declare slave trade gravest crime, and there's NIA sets limits on how long agencies can keep personal data. Antoine Semenyo wins first trophy with Manchester City. Congratulations to Manchester City. They humbled Arsenal yesterday. Wow, what a game it was. Now, if you go to Ghana Web, there's have been dumped. Ms. Bell laments after campaigning for NDC. There's also man cries unleashing cases on charge of alleged 200,000 cedis bribe ruling. And there's rethinking Ghana's SIM re-registration, a call for evidence-based policy making. There's RENAC celebrates birthday with 1,000 gold tablets giveaway. And there's Carabao Cup. Antoine Semenyo speaks after winning first trophy with Manchester City. All right. So that's it for the online portal review. Today's the newspapers are now out for obvious reasons because they're on break. Today's a holiday, so they're also celebrating or they're observing the day, so they're not out at all. All right. So today's show is very packed indeed. We have we're going to be talking to one of Ghana's, we call it renowned, I'm looking for some other words, reputable perhaps, not perhaps, reputable posters in Ghana. He has a new post, very interesting indeed. We would speak to him at this point. I'm talking about Musa Dankwa. He's Executive Director of the Global Info Analytics, and he has a very interesting post. He'll be talking to us briefly about that before he leaves us at some point to continue with his other engagements for the day. And also there's a big event coming, is the Investment Impact Summit, and the organizers of this summit are here with us this morning to tell us more about it. And then our interesting guest who will be joining, they say these are not politicians, strictly speaking. They may have their own biases here and there, but they're not politicians, strictly speaking. They'll be joining us to look at the effect of the Middle East crisis on Ghana. That's been one of the biggest topics that it's been on the minds and the lips of many, because Ghana is not spared or is not absolved from whatever happens outside this country. We're talking about external shocks. We're talking about exogenous factors. Global shocks will definitely hit Ghana. And so we want to try and understand how this Middle East conflict, we're talking Iran in conflict with Israel and US on one side. And the shocks already hitting us, because even today I was listening to the BBC and I actually had the International Energy Agency boss, one Fatih, who was, yes, he's called Fatih Birol, who was warning that the war in the West Asia could see the world face its worst energy crisis in decades. And this describing the situation as a very, very, very severe. In fact, he continues to say that many of us remember, I'm going to quote him, many of us remember the two consecutive oil crises in the 1970s. At that time, in each of the crises, the world has lost about 5 million barrels per day, both of them together 10 million barrels per day. Mr. Birol told the National Press Club in Australia's capital, where he's on a visit. All right, so there's more to come on this particular matter, where my guest will be joining us to weigh on this particular issue, but also whether there's a basis to compare what's happening today and what happened with the Ukraine-Russia war. We'll be looking at all of that when my guest join me shortly. But before I go, you know that you know about a new baby, don't you? I'm talking about our Community Watch. Now, Community Watch this morning, we're going all the way to the La Paz area. We're told that the traders there have turned the La Paz pavement into a trading hub. Watch this.
My country, Ghana, we are so smart. This is our pavement. The pavement is the market, and now we have to fight with the Trotskys with the road. The whole pavement has been turned into the market. See, the whole pavement. And now we have to fight with the cars to find a place to walk. My country, Ghana, we are so smart. This is our pavement. The pavement is the market, and now we have to fight with the Trotskys with the road. The whole pavement has been turned into the market. See, the whole pavement. And now we have to fight with the cars to find a place to walk. My country, Ghana, we are so smart. This is our pavement. The pavement is the market, and now we have to fight with the Trotskys with the road. The whole pavement has been turned into the market. See, the whole pavement. And now we have to fight with the cars.
All right, that's Community Watch. And so, please, the duty bearers, get to the bottom of this. Let's fix this problem. So the traders have turned La Paz pavement into a trading hub. It doesn't fall under the AMA. Yes, it doesn't. La Paz doesn't. I doubt it falls under the Accra Metropolitan Authority. But whatever it is, I'm sure the DC or the MP there and the Assembly must move in and deal with this problem, because that pavement is not a trading hub at all. It's a pedestrian walkway. So the traders have no business doing brisk business over there. So please, please, please get to the bottom of this and let's sort it out. All right, you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. We will be right back.
Start your kids' day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Have you attained 45 years and older? Notice blood in your stool, a family history of cancer? Then don't wait to have a colonoscopy. Early detection of cancer and effective treatment save lives.
There are weak points in the development and spread of cancers of the large bowel that we have control over to stop, to reduce the incidence and deaths from these cancers. Achieving this success depends on you and me. We are fully prepared. What about you?
Visit Mintuba Hospital and Coloproctology Center today or call us. Mintuba Hospital, first Ghana Colorectal Center, in to serve a peculiar health need.
Finding the ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. At MNC Properties, we believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy, specifically designed for low and medium income earners. Our range of customizable homes includes 2 and 3 bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We understand the importance of simplicity and convenience in the acquisition process. That's why we have designed our procedures to be straightforward and hassle-free, offering flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs. In addition to our affordable homes, we proudly offer litigation-free lands for sale in vibrant and upscale communities that present the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. We are committed to making affordable housing a reality, providing you with the joy of owning a home that meets your budgets and aspirations. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 030-255-1917. MNC Properties, choice of class.
Brush, 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 brush your teeth. Brush, 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 2 times a day. Brush with Kel-Kit.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel-Kit's toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel-Kit, happy smile.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friendly Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friendly once now.
Hey, that's on you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the accent.
Me didn't sasso spray. Mr. Friendly sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso.
Sasso, come tum preko.
Hey, Unia, new release niana. Kaya gum.
Ebitino was me new release. Me can no access fit mu ho no. And na Tabotech Garages Limited. Akwafa besiesie amana aye nitia. Obi ase ye car mu no.
Accident car no na. Tabotech Garages Limited. Amana se gina ne naso sa no.
Me se wo akwafa broni fita engineer efra brochiraba. And wo check cars no. Na wo hunu ba bia fault kro wo. And ho spare parts so ade hyehyɛ. Afenesi road. And so ho charges kakra bi o.
Tabotech Garages Limited.
Wo ye general servicing. Ebi ni engine overhaul overhauling, engine tuning, oven spraying, general electrical works, air condition installation work, BMU, upholstery, gearbox, make a day.
Tabutech Garages Limited.
Apart from sir, car that wotimi ato, and now Toma wono, was science importation of cars, and it was spare parts, if la butreba, Wokoto car mawa, and free.
Also, what you calling?
Tabutech Garages Limited, our La Paz Malam Road, after Bayard traffic light, wah. Bibiania for 0206 48 1793 and now 0542 96 1111. Website tabletechghana.com.
Tabletech Garages Limited.
Hey, Kaya will be a benyani.
Tabletech Garages Limited.
Your car beauty and the power boosters.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to a mammy manful. Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is several buying, a man is swing, Nesansu Mama Hotel so a will beg you.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
When nations rise, it begins with bold conversations. When economies grow, it is driven by partnership. This April, Ghana's business and policy leaders converge at the Pro Business Forum 2026, the nation's premier platform for investment, enterprise, and economic transformation. With special guest of honor, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, joining captains of industry, financial institutions, investors, and entrepreneurs.
The Pro Business Forum is more than just an event. It is a call to action. And so let us work together to build a Ghana that is competitive, productive, and inclusive, and a Ghana that creates opportunities for all.
Come, let's engage in high-level dialogue, explore industry exhibitions, build powerful networks, and unlock real opportunities from finance and insurance to manufacturing, agribusiness, SMEs, and innovation. This is where it all happens. From the 3rd to the 5th of April 2026 at the Kwo Convention Center in Praeso Hills. Go to www.kwobusinessforum.com and register now. To register for exhibitions, call 059 555 5885 or 059 555 5995. Pro Business Forum. Connect, promote, grow.
All right, you're welcome to Good Morning Ghana, or you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Holiday edition. It's a bit more relaxed, but we still have to have the conversations because they are very important. Now, there's a major event that's coming off, and we need to have a conversation about this event. The organizers are here. The event is Ghana Impact Summit, and joining me this morning is Efua Ghani. She is the Partnerships Officer, Impact Investment Ghana, and also Josephine Brown. She is Programs Assistant in charge of Communications Impact, Ghana Impact Summit. Good morning, ladies. Good to see you. How are you?
We're doing well, thank you.
You're supposed to be at home now. I mean, taking care of family, etc. But you've decided to join us this morning. It must be a very, very important outing for you.
Yes, it is.
I guess.
Actually, it is.
Why?
We are trying to bring everybody to the biggest summit in Ghana this year.
Okay.
The Ghana Impact Summit.
All right. Let's start with, because I'll find out whether it is the first of its kind, and what's the whole thinking, behind this. So, Ghana Impact Summit. When we mention impact investing in Ghana, So first of all, let's ask, so what is the summit about? And then I will get more specifics, which is when we say impact investment in Ghana, what do we mean? So what is the summit about, first of all?
I think I should do it the other way around.
Okay.
Then it makes
Easier.
explaining the reason why we have the summit.
Great. Great.
So impact investing is a way of investing not just for financial returns, but investing in businesses and innovations that allow for a measurable social and environmental impact. And that is what we do at Impact Investing Ghana. We are an ecosystem builder. What we do is we bring all key stakeholders together to try and drive capital to where it's needed the most. When I say that, into impactful ventures for not just financial returns, but we are measuring social impact, we are measuring environmental impact. And we do that by supporting social enterprises, connecting them with investors, and turning investments into real partnerships and opportunities. And for the summit, let me go to the summit. So the Ghana Impact Summit is where all these conversations happen.
Right.
So the summit is in its third year. It has run for 2 years. The first was in 2023. The second was in 2024. And here we are. We are bringing together all ecosystem players. We are bringing policymakers, government actors, social innovators, entrepreneurs, financialists who are eager to collaborate, to share insights on how to drive capital into innovations and opportunities that bring real change, systems change. And it's happening in Kempinski on the 24th of March, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 5.
That's just tomorrow.
p.m. Yes.
Okay.
To 5 p.m.
From what time to what time?
9 a.m.
From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
to 5 p.m.
Okay. All right. So, Josephine, tell me, which sectors in Ghana are most ripe for impact investing today?
I think across board, because as she mentioned, impact investing is about directing finance towards organizations or initiatives that are driving social and environmental change. And so it's not limited to one particular sector. But in terms of this particular summit, we are looking to connect mostly the people with capital to the people who could use the capital. And so from VCP players, venture capital, private equity, there's banks, there's DFIs, international organizations, even the government, because the policies that they create affect how SMEs and general organizations run. And we also have the businesses and the SMEs. 90% of Ghana's economy or businesses are SMEs. And so it means that there's real power there. And so how do we drive capital towards them so that they can do more, they can scale, and
Talk to us.
Just to add to Josephine, this year's theme is scaling impact.
Okay.
Mobilizing local capital for locally led change.
Okay.
So that's the theme for the summit. And the reason for this theme is that we are focusing on how can we rely as a country on our own local capital, talking about pension funds, local institutions, local investors to drive some of our funding needs or development priorities without solely relying on foreign aid. So conversations around domestic capital mobilization is key for the summit. And all our sessions are curated along these lines.
I see. So talk to us about what your key expectations are as far as the summit is concerned and the extent to which you think the summit can impact or influence Ghana's impact ecosystem and the wider regional landscape. Talk to us about that.
So I believe this year, especially around our theme, one, we're looking from moving towards just conversation to actions. And one of the ways that we're doing that is deal making. And so we're looking to garner more deals in terms of businesses getting funding for the work that they do. And we actually, while the summit is going on, we'll have what we call deal rooms powered by Deal Source Africa. So they connect businesses directly to investors. So investors, we have a pipeline of businesses, and then investors send us their criteria. And so we go through our pipeline and then see which business fits this investor. And then we put them in the room together. But before that, we even prepare the businesses. How do you structure your pitch deck? What do you need to put together before an investor? And so that's an example of an expectation. We're looking to move towards action rather than just conversations, because there's a lot of summits and events happening. Another thing is to build our ecosystem and then foster collaboration between all the stakeholders. So like I mentioned, this is where we put people with the capital together with people who need and could use the capital, and it could benefit the country. And so how do we foster collaboration between these partners? Because one of our pillars as well as impact investing is collaboration. So we connect the different stakeholders to who needs this, who can do this. And so that's the other thing as well.
Just to add, talking about collaborations, I think the sessions have been curated, and the people that have been put on these panels, so we have fund managers, we have pension and investment experts, we have climate finance experts who in their own spaces are driving these these conversations. They are decision makers, they are financing ecosystems, they are building businesses, so they know what they are talking about. So we are expecting that through these conversations we can identify key gaps in the ecosystem that hinders the flow of money. And then once these gaps are identified, we'll be able to recommend actionable steps to fill these gaps, and obviously tangible results from what impact investing has been able to do in terms of creating jobs, in terms of driving the economy, can also be brought to the light for more people to get interested in it. Consequently, we are looking to drive more money to where it's supposed to be through the summit.
Who are your strategic partners as far as this event is concerned? I mean, we want to know some of the key speakers. Who are they really?
Right. So for this year, we are delivering this in partnership with the UNCDF, together with their collaborating partners, that is the EU, Expertise Fund, RVO, that's the Netherlands Enterprise Agency. We have NBC Africa, we have Shequity, we have Stanbic Investment Management Services, we have MIDA, funded by the Global Affairs Canada on their Go-To project. We have, am I blanking out? Venture Capital Trust Fund, as our strategic partners for the summit.
How about the key speakers?
We have very key speakers like the Amalatis, who is the CEO of Impact Investing Ghana. We have Michael Abbey from the Venture Capital Trust Fund. We have Mirabel Moreau. We have Hamdia Ismailaya.
Abbey?
Yes,
Venture Capital
Trust Fund.
A very good friend of mine.
Yes. And then we have Hamdia Ismaila Savannah, Impact Advisory. We have the head of cooperation for the EU giving some remarks. We have a lot more aspects that have been lined up.
So we should be looking at how many speakers for the day?
I think we have
5, 6, 7.
No, because we have speakers per panel.
Per panel.
20. Yes. So about 35.
About 35.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
and these have been,
because I mean, essentially the event is about a conversation. You're going to have a conversation, so you need as many speakers there as possible to trigger different kinds of perspectives for people.
Around how do we unlock domestic capital at scale? How do we unlock capital, invest capital, grow capital, gender lens investing,
climate financing.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, walk us through, Josephine, walk us through the side events at this Impact Summit.
Yes, so considering it's tomorrow, we've already had a few events leading up to this. Our first one actually was a webinar by Deal Source Africa on how to structure your pitch deck and how to prepare for that. And then last week, we hosted a webinar on gender lens investing. Investing.
Oh, so it's all part of the build-up?
Yes.
To tomorrow's event?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we did that in partnership with VCTF, Venture Capital Trust Fund. And we had our virtual deal rooms as well. So outside of, we know some entrepreneurs and investors are not in the country. And so we connected them virtually so that these pitches could go on. So we had that last week, Thursday. And as I mentioned, even during the summit, we'll be having our in-person deal rooms. And we have a partners dinner, strictly for partners. But we have that as well, again, to foster collaboration.
Okay.
And we'll be having the launch of our fund of funds, I believe.
Right.
Yes.
Very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important. So how do I register and become a part of this? Is there any, what we call it, what's the damage? You know, back in the day when we used to attend events, so they say damage, 20 cities.
Okay.
So participation, walk us through.
Yeah, so we had our registrations opened until yesterday,
where we closed registrations for in-person.
Yes.
But virtual registrations are still open because the event is taking a hybrid nature.
Right.
So you can attend in person or you can watch virtually, stream
Virtually.
live. So virtual option is still available for 500 CDs.
Yes.
Right.
To watch or stream live and catch all the action.
Is there anything I'll miss out by joining digitally?
No.
I'll miss out on anything.
Well, probably just the networking
Yes.
experience
The networking
and
experience.
the deal.
Because we do have a networking cocktail after the event.
Yeah.
So just people
But I
connecting.
can't stretch
and
my
they-
hands through the digital platform and say, I want to drink some, I want to eat some.
Well, no, for that, no. But we have a digital hub where you can connect with the attendees.
Okay.
So there's a chat box and you can look through the people who have signed up and actually start up a conversation.
Okay.
Even during the summit. So if you're a virtual attendee, you still get that kind of networking.
Yeah. Well, listen, next time pay early. Register early.
Yes, because we had early bird before the standard rate.
Yes. Otherwise, you seek in, but you can't step foot there. So, what are your final words? Tell us about the summit partners, venue, date, time, registration deadline, and why this is a must-attend event.
Okay, I think that it's going to be a great event. You'll be missing out if you are eager to join the conversation that is going to shape the future of Ghana's economy through real investment and partnerships, because this is the summit where we are convening the people, the capital, and all the ideas that we need to drive real change. Like I said, registrations are closed, but virtual registrations are still opened, and it's happening again tomorrow at the Kempinski Hotel in Accra, and we're expecting to see everyone. We're expecting to have an even better event, and we thank all our strategic partners, our collaborating partners, and our network partners.
Yes.
Metro TV Ghana, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But I just briefly, I get that I may be wrong, but I get the feeling that is this just a conversation that's going to be had in achieving certain set objectives, or you are also looking forward to meeting people who have businesses which aligns with what your funders are prepared to put some money in? Can I join virtually and to make a case and to say, Charlie, I've got something here, can you help me get some funding for it? Because it aligns with what you're doing.
So like I mentioned, we had our virtual deal room, so connecting businesses with investors last week. But we do at Impact Investing Ghana, we organize that on a quarterly basis through our Deal Source Africa programs. So it is a platform where, again, we connect businesses to investors. So if you are looking as a business, you have a venture that you believe could use funding and fit certain criteria, you can go onto dealsourceafrica.org. and look out for our next deal room in the next quarter. If you're an investor as well,
Okay.
and you believe, you have some money that you want to put into a profitable business, you can also sign up on dealsourceafrica.org.
All right.
So, yeah.
Okay. Let me thank you very much. So let me thank you. If we're Ghani, isn't it? Oh, Johnny. Okay.
Yeah.
If Johnny is a partnerships officer, Impact Invest in Ghana, and there's also Josephine Brown, who is a programs assistant, communications, Impact Investment Ghana. And I want to thank you very much for your time. So it's happening tomorrow.
Yes.
And it's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yes.
I don't have an invitation, but I'll still be there because you don't want me to be there, but I will be there. Yes. Anyway, so thank you very much for making time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, it's good to see you. And I say Barka da Sallah. You say Barka Kadi.
Barka Kadi.
Yes. I've made some impact.
Yes, you have.
Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you.
All right,
too.
then. So coming up, Musa Dankwa will also be joining us. Now, Musa Dankwa, in his latest global info analytics poll, is telling us that for the first quarter of 2026, his poll is showing a shift in party affiliations compared to December 2025 poll. Now, is the NDC winning in terms of more and more people joining the party, or it is the MPP? What exactly is Musa Dankwa's poll showing as far as a shift in party affiliation is concerned? Musa Dankwa is joining us shortly for a brief but very, very revealing and a very interesting conversation. Please don't go anywhere.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits. Happy smile.
From Accra to the world, Ghana Impact Summit has been the stage for ideas that transform communities. Year after year, we connect leaders, innovators, and change makers, amplifying voices, driving solutions, and unlocking opportunities for Ghana and beyond. The chairperson, Alex Esiedu, board chair of Impact Invest in Ghana, Amalate, CEO, Impact Invest in Ghana, Percival Ofuri Ampoma, General Manager, Venture Capital Trust Fund, and many other visionary leaders and speakers personally invite you to Ghana Impact Summit 2020. This year's summit brings together voices that inspire action and mobilizes change. Together, we champion innovation, finance, sustainability, and women's leadership, creating pathways for lasting change. This March, be part of the movement. Ghana Impact Summit 2026. Date 24th March 2026. Venue Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel, Accra. Time 8 a.m. prompt. Theme Scaling Impact, mobilizing local capital for locally led change. Ghana Impact Summit is hosted by Impact Investing Ghana with support from GSG Impact and the Africa Impact Investing Group. Strategic partners. Collaborating partners, media partners,
The Ghana Exim Bank is 10 years old. Hooray! And to commemorate this milestone, the Ghana Exim Bank is hosting a 2-day international conference on the theme, A Decade of Enabling Export Trade and Industrial Transformation, Resetting GEXIM for the Next Frontier. The event takes place on the 25th to 26th of March at the Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast City, 8 a.m. each day. President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will perform the official opening of the conference. Special guest and speaker, Honorable Elizabeth Ofoswejari, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. Conference host is Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank. For inquiries, call 0208-541-480 or visit eximbankghana.com/conference to register. Media partners, Daily Graphic, Media General, The Multimedia Group, City FM, Radio Gold and Channel 1 TV. And knowledge partners include IFC and SME Finance Forum.
Finding the ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. At MNC Properties, we believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy. Specifically designed for low and medium income earners. Our range of customizable homes includes 2 and 3 bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We understand the importance of simplicity and convenience in the acquisition process. That's why we have designed our procedures to be straightforward and hassle-free, offering flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs. In addition to our affordable homes, we proudly offer litigation-free lands for sale in vibrant and upscale communities that present the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. We are committed to making affordable housing a reality, providing you with the joy of owning a home that meets your budgets and aspirations. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 030-255-1917. MNC Properties, choice of class.
It's me, Azar.
Yeah, me now they see. Hey, you don't look fresh. Oh.
Hey.
With your label today, me.
Wait till you see what's inside me.
Azar, freshly made inside and out for greater coverage and colors that last longer and beautify your walls, spaces and places. Azar, no size. Go ahead. Buy now. Azar, #1 from Azar Group since 1921.
Wabedum Tamaso. Hey, Jay. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwaya Besisia. Abozig. I can say no ya konati and the more drink woman. Hey, but I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eji, Dabio, baby wom. Ready? Hey, baby wom. Ah, Eji, I'll cause some discomfort. Ah. Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral?
Say a sorry insecticide GB at a user. Co pharmacy in a shop biam. Na mum say a pharmacy supermarket and a shop ra. Na repedudu to a cotonwa. On for Royal Dutch and our Aerofield Trading. Effie spray with daimwa. Chansima a dronu and sana a radine. Inkratui FDA ajatum.
When nations rise, it begins with bold conversations. When economies grow, it is driven by partnership. This April, Ghana's business and policy leaders converge at the Pro Business Forum 2026, the nation's premier platform for investment, enterprise, and economic transformation, with special guest of honor, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, joining captains of industry, financial institutions, investors, and entrepreneurs.
The Pro Business Forum is more than just an event. It is a call to action. And so let us work together to build a Ghana that is competitive, productive, and inclusive, and a Ghana that creates opportunities for all.
Come, let's engage in high-level dialogue, explore industry exhibitions, build powerful networks, and unlock real opportunities from finance and insurance to manufacturing, agribusiness, SMEs, and innovation. This is where it all happens. From the 3rd to the 5th of April 2026 at the Kwewu Convention Center in Praeso Hills. Go to www.kwewubusinessforum.com and register now. To register for exhibitions, call 059 555 5885 or 059 555 5995. Kwewu Business Forum. Connect, promote, grow.
You're watching Good Morning Ghana on the Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro. Special edition, holiday edition. We call it the Eid al-Fitr edition of Good Morning Ghana. Yes, today is our day and we're proud of that. Well, once again, thanks to the government of the day for giving us a second holiday. But we still have to talk, don't we? Because there's always something to say and there's always a conversation to be had as far as this, to be had in this, as far as this country's affairs are concerned. Now, one of the things that we want to talk about this morning is that there have been some movements as far as party affiliations are concerned. So basically, some people are leaving the MPP and they're joining the NDC, and they're giving all kinds of reasons why they're joining the NDC. And Musa Dankwa that's what Musa Dankwa has been tracking in the last few months or so. And he's come up with some very interesting revelations, a very interesting outcome of the polls that he's been conducting. And he's taking time off his very, very busy schedule. And here, I want to apologize to Musa Dankwa, because Musa Dankwa, initially, we were thinking that we could have him join us very early in the morning, but something came up. Before, he was here as early as 7:15, but we had to do the Ghana Impact Summit interview before him, and so we've sort of disrupted his program for the day, and we sincerely and unconditionally and unreservedly apologize for disrupting his program for the day. He's a very busy man. That's what a lot of people don't know. To get him to the studio is not a joke. But of course, relationships, and he's a very good friend of mine. He's almost like a brother, and he's very good friends with Metro TV as well, the Ignite Media Group. So yes, he's forgiven us for disrupting his program for the day, and we apologize for that. So Musa Dankwa is here. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Global Info Analytics, one of the most talked about, reputable, very credible polling organizations in this country. He's taking time off his access. Said he's very busy to join us. So Musa, assalamu alaikum, and we say it in Hausa, called Lafia.
Wa alaikum assalam and Lafia lo.
Yes. So we're so grateful that you've been able to make time to join us. We're so grateful, and once again, our sincere, deepest apologies for the disruption in your program today, or your plans for today. Now, just yesterday, and as you do from time to time, I am lucky, fortunate to be one of the recipients of the polls that you conduct, and so as soon as you're done, you send me the report. Now, of course, the production team looked at it and said, look, this is very interesting, because as far as we're concerned, this is actually the first time you're doing something like this. We're talking about movement in party affiliations, and so I may be wrong, and you can correct me on that. But we just thought it was quite interesting what exactly could be happening, where you have a situation where the NDC appears to be gaining more grounds, more momentum in terms of people joining the NDC and people leaving the MPP, and we're asking what could possibly be happening. So this is the summary of your findings. We're saying that the latest Global Info Analytics poll for the first quarter of 2026 continues to show shifts in party affiliations compared to the December 2025 polls. The poll shows the governing NDC stretching its advantage in party affiliations, while the main opposition MPP continues to lose grounds. Okay, the poll, which is conducted between 5th to the 23rd of March 2026, shows voters who openly associate themselves with the NDC has increased from 41% to 45% between December 2025 to March 2026, while the MPP declined from 26% to 25%. Data from the swing regions, we're talking Greater Accra, Central and Western, which are critical in winning elections in Ghana, is more alarming for the main opposition, as the NDC now has 53% support compared to 24% for the MPP. Musa, first of all, why have you decided to take or to conduct this polls first? Because typically when we hear from you, is that as a by-election or the main elections and so on and so forth. You rarely do polls that talks about just movement or shifts in party affiliations. I mean, like I said, I may be wrong.
No, we've been doing this for ages.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I think let me set this record straight.
Right.
To everyone watching this program today.
Okay.
We have a published calendar.
Okay.
Polling calendar.
Right.
And that calendar says in the first quarter of each year, March, April, second quarter, June, July, third quarter, September, October, fourth quarter, December, we would publish our tracking poll. We call it a national tracking poll, quarterly, rain or shine.
Right.
Whether government is in trouble or Ghana is in trouble, that quarterly calendar will be complied with.
Okay.
That is the calendar we've published to the whole world. Because the people who consume this data are not just from Ghana here. There are international bodies that consume this data. And that calendar is fixed calendar. It does not matter what is happening in MPP or NDC, we don't care. That report will come out. And if you look at our report, we always refer to the previous period. What we were told by voters in the last period, last quarter, and what they are saying now. So they can have a perspective of what the movement, if any, are in the data. We also provide a tracking data. Sometimes it goes back to 2024, which we have done in this report. We have provided a party affiliation of people openly saying they are MPP or NDC from October 2024 all the way to today. So we can see the trend of the movement that is happening. So we've been doing this more every 90 days. Rain or shine.
Oh, that's good. That's great. That's why I had to issue that caveat that I stand to be corrected. And I'm happy that you have set the record straight on this matter. And I'm so grateful for this. Now, what did you seek to find out? How many places or how many constituencies did you, poll the respondents? And also how many regions, what sample method you used, confidence level, etc., margin over a survey type. Walk us through all of that this morning.
Look, in this engagement, we spoke to about 12,472 voters, both in the face-to-face in the field, on telephone, and few also using the web mode. Now, these are random sampling of voters across. We don't target anybody.
Okay.
So the numbers that you see, the natural response from people we met randomly on the street.
Right.
And we have used a 99% confidence level and a margin of error around 1.4%. And as we indicated, the samples were drawn between 5th and 23rd March, which is today.
Okay.
So that is the methodology we've used for ages. In the past, we've only done the field and telephone. Last year, we added the online version because there are certain voters that are also relevant to decision making in this country that we don't see them in the field. Certain class of voters, if you go to places that we go, on normal day, you meet them. But they are on social media. So we're able to get those views from social media. So we decided to do a multimodal approach methodology to make sure that we have the sample represent every people who have voice in this country. Every person who have voice in this country.
So, I noticed that, as you rightly said, that the field face-to-face was 60%.
Yeah.
And then the telephone, the telephone methodology or the telephone model was 13%, and the online being 19%. Why did you decide to do more face-to-face? For somebody
because that's where most voters are.
Okay.
Most voters will not be on telephone. We don't have all telephone numbers.
Right.
The phone numbers here are people who have met in the field over the last period that we call them back.
Right.
So for them, we are tracking their poll in the sense of what we call tracking poll,
Okay.
what do you call it, longitudinal survey for them. But people in the face-to-face, most people, majority of voters are not on telephone.
Right.
You can't get them on the internet. So
Right.
ideally, they should have the bigger representation from this sample.
And also notice that there are more females. There are more males than females. So you have 59% for males and 49% for females. Of course, that, like you said, is not targeted. It's still random.
It depends on if you look at the face-to-face,
Okay.
that will have much more closer percentage.
Okay.
Because in the field, we're able to manage how many women we engage and how many men we engage. Because you can see them physically, facially, and decide, I've done enough men, let me make sure that we are balancing it up with female.
Okay.
When you are doing it on telephone, you can also apply the same thing. But online, you don't determine who responds to the survey online. So the online tend to skew the gender a bit. But broadly, you want to understand the views of those who are on social media. And that's why it's important. So in some cases, if you want to kind of find the true voice of women voters, we adjust the weight to reflect the EC voting population structure.
And then for age groups, 35 to 44 were the highest.
Yeah.
36%.
Yeah.
18 to 24, which is more like the youth group, that's 7%. And then you also have between the 25 to 34 year groups representing 34%. And then 45 to 54 is 16%. 55 to 64, 5%, and the 65 plus 2%. Is there something to say about this?
Yeah, this is consistent in the sense that if you look at people who vote in this country, about 78% of them are 44 and below.
Okay.
If you add this data, it's about 77%. It's 1% shy of what we've come to know. So this is strictly or largely or broadly in line with what you normally see on the street. If you interview people who vote, not generally Ghanaians, voters, people who vote, you'll find out that about 78% of them are 44 years and below, which has a profound implication on what's going to happen in the election, because these guys will determine who becomes the president.
That's interesting. That's the 35 to 44 year groups.
Yes,
okay.
and below, yes.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, you've been consistent. You've always said that we have an active, I call it political group, but you have an active voter group, which is more younger, of a younger demographics. Now let's talk about education. So we're still on the demographics. Education, you're saying that you polled more. Okay, so SHS and tertiary are tying with 35% each. And then for JSS, you're looking at 17%. And then you have 13% no formal qualification at all. Doesn't mean they've not been to school at all?
They have been to, but they haven't have qualification.
Yeah, as a certificate, isn't it? They don't have anything at all. Okay.
So, I mean, if you look at this data, the junior high school and the no formal education is almost constant or regular or average with what we've seen in the polls.
Okay.
Now, in this current poll, you see that there is a bit of rise in the people who are tertiary qualification holders, slightly almost at par with senior high. Usually the senior high will be slightly higher, but because of the combined effect of the online voters were more elite.
Right.
So they helped that ratio to go up. But if you go back to the face-to-face, you realize that senior high school will be slightly higher than the tertiary qualification.
Makes sense.
Most important thing is that those without formal qualification, the number is around 10% to 13%. That is the number that is very consistent.
Right. Now let's talk about employment. So 64% of the people you polled are employed. So there's more. You spoke to more people who are employed than those who are not employed. So 24% you're talking about unemployed, 11% were students, and then 2% are pensioners.
I think this is broadly consistent with what we've seen in many of the polls. If you take our polls over the last previous 3 quarters, you will see that these numbers are in line. Usually, if you want to see some of consistency in the data, compare the numbers from last year to this, and see whether there is a big swing or it's within some kind of small movement. And in most cases, you can see that it's in line with what we've been finding out.
Let's talk about religion. So you interacted more with Christians, and that's 71%.
It's no more. But they are the number.
Yeah, well. You're right.
I mean, if you step off the street right now,
there are more Christians. There are more Christians. I think the Ghana Statistical Survey shows.
I mean, and this is in line with the statistics of GSS. Yes,
you're right.
A Muslim around 21%. So this means that even if you don't believe in it, look at this demographic. It points to you that look, this is what Ghanaians look like.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So Islam 21%, other religions 1%, traditional is 4%. Why did you add traditional to other religions?
Other religions are occasional.
Yes,
Sikhs and those ones. We want the traditional people to stand alone. What we've done here to try to reflect our structure of demography with that of the GSS, so that you can compare.
Right. And then those who are non-religious, that's 3%.
Yes.
Okay. Perhaps they are probably agnostics. Where they believe there's a God, but they don't believe in going through anybody, so that's an agnostic. And some other. There's lots of. So, in fact, there are even atheists.
Absolutely.
They don't believe in God at all. Anyway, so there's Islamic sects. Wow, this
and the Christian sects. If you look at from the Christian denominations, the Pentecostal are dominant.
Yeah.
About 20% of the people are Pentecostal.
Okay.
Then you have the Catholics, about 19% from the sample we engaged. Methodists, about 19%. Presbyterian, about 17%. Charismatics, around 14%. Anglican, 4%. Other groups, 4%. SDA, 2%. And GW, 1%.
Again, it's in line with what I call the national statistics as well. So, and then let's look at the Islamic sects. What is there to say?
I mean, the Sunnis are the most dominant, about 51%. And then you have the Tijaniya group, around 17%. The Ahmadiyya, around 14%. Other sects, around 12%. And Shia, around 7%. What I would say that the other sects, mostly there are some Sunnis who don't know that they are Sunnis. So they will tell you they are others. And so this is, we have this kind of bit of confusion between the Sunni and other people. So we believe that some of the others are actually Sunnis, but they don't know that they are Sunnis.
That's interesting. Let's now look. You see, the reason why ethnicity for me and the religion factor for me is a very interesting one, because this, of course, I mean, you and I know, and it's not even you and I know, but I think that the records are there to show that the sense is that the MPP tends to enjoy more of their can votes, right, as compared to the NDC. And again, NDC tends to enjoy more of the Muslim northern votes as compared to the MPP. So I think that for watchers or consumers of this information must take the movements of the Islamic sect and the ethnicity thing very, very important. So walk us through the ethnicity thing again.
I mean, from the sample we engage, 46% of them are Akans.
Wow.
If you go to GSS, it's around 47%. So margin of error is 1.4. So it's within the margin of error. Maulid Dagbani is about 12% in this sample. Evers around 11%. Other ethnic groups put together 10%. But Gandangbe 9%. The Guan 6%. The Grushi 2%. Gruma 2%. The Mande group 1%. And the Guru near zero. Not zero, but just a fraction.
That's interesting.
And these groupings are in line with the GSS way of grouping the ethnic groups.
Okay. Now we'll revisit this when we return to the summary of the findings. Now let's talk about income levels. What is there to share?
Yeah, we decided this time around to include income level of people we interview.
So that's a new addition.
This is a new addition we have done. Try to see whether there will be correlation between people's income levels and the choices they make in the end. What choices are the rich guys going to go for? What choices would the lower income people going to go for? It will give us a better insight in our predictions going forward. Okay. So from the sample we engaged, about 28% of them did not tell us how much they earn. They won't tell us. But 20% say they have no income.
Wow.
So they have no income that they can say, okay, I get this every month. No.
So does that suggest they are living on the benevolence of people?
Yes. And Hangu Hankam on daily basis.
Wow. Okay.
And then we have about 20% of them earning less than 10,000 Ghana cedis a year.
Okay. Wow.
and 15% earning between 10,000 and 29,000 or 30,000. 9% earning up to 50,000. 4% between 50 and 70,000. 1% between 70 and roughly 100,000. And only 3% are earning 100,000 and above per annum. So you can slice and dice this data to see, even we come down the line, among people who say they are NDC, how many of them are in this income bracket? And we've done that, I think, in the document. Quite interesting stuff.
Okay, so now walk us through the main party affiliations as data. What have you found out?
Look, these are people, we ask them simple questions. Which political party would you associate yourself with? Do you support? Or which party do you normally vote for in an election?
Okay.
Or normally I vote for NDC. You are an NDC person. Or I call myself an NDC person. Or I vote for MPP. I'm MPP. For me, I vote CPP. You are other parties. Or I support UP. New party is there. And there are those who say, me, I don't have a party. I look at the parties and decide who to vote for in every election. Those are the floating voters. They float from MPP to NDC. And sometimes they can float from floating voter to become NDC or to become MPP. What we will see down the line is that people who may have become, who were calling themselves floating voters, may shift to another party. We have those who say, me, I know, but I won't tell you. I won't disclose. For one reason or the other. And it depends on where that person is. If that person is in the MPP stronghold, and he says, oh, me, I won't disclose, you will suspect that either he is an NDC person who's trying to hide, or he might be an MPP person who is not happy to say that I'm MPP now because of maybe one reason or the other. The same thing, if somebody is in the voter region and he says, I will not disclose, it probably might be an MPP person. Because it's not cool to be in maybe so-called stronghold and be other parties. So there are many reasons for people choosing this option.
Okay. And now you're finding out that in terms of party affiliation,
MPP was 26% in the December poll.
Okay.
Now they've gone to 25% nationally. Small movement, but a very interesting one.
Why?
Because from October 2024, the trajectory of MPP party affiliation has been on constant decline every 90 days. We have not reached a bottom yet. I don't know when that bottom will be reached. But the next slide, you see the slide. Constantly, the party is in decline. You know, in statistics and data analytics, if an event happened first time, it's not a trend. Second time, isn't the trend. Third time, it's a trend. This has gone beyond third times. Several times in every quarter, the number is declining. And that must be a source of worry to any leader of MPP today. When you look at NDC, they were 41% before. Now they've gone to 45%. Those who said they were floating voters, 19 before, now 17. 2% drop. Those who said other parties, largely unchanged, 3%. But those who were not disclosing have declined by 1%. You can see that all those declines went to add up to NDC numbers.
What we don't know is that the 3%, or is it a 4% addition to the NDC, whether these were MPP supporters who have left to join the NDC, or these were floating voters who have decided to now have decided not to become floating voters. So who are they?
Look,
that 4%.
Look, 1% of them are MPP people.
Quite clearly, from
yes.
From no, but hold on, Musa. Does the fact that
when you come to the regions, you see it clearly.
Cool.
Yet on the national basis, it tends to blur or blind the real movement. When we come to the regional numbers, I think it will sink in.
Because I don't want us to assume that the fact that the MPP has dropped by 1% in itself is an automatic addition to the NDC.
Sometimes MPP may decline, and that decline will go to other parties or floating voters or I will not disclose.
Yes.
Here you can clearly see.
When we get to regional.
Yes. If you, the decline happened in 3 segments or 3 voting parties. Decline in MPP, decline in floating voters, and a decline in those who are not disclosing. Where did they go to? They didn't go to other parties. Well, other parties remained at 3%. It didn't change. So the sum of those declines is about 4%. And that 4% is what NDC got.
Interesting. Let's go past these trends in political party affiliations, 3 months moving average with that. Let's now look at, so because you see, the regional party affiliations is important. I think that it would make the picture clearer. On what you said earlier. So walk us through it.
Now, let's look at, there will be some really frightening numbers here to watch. In Ahafu, Ahafu used to be MPP region.
Yes.
Now, NDC is dominant, 45% NDC and 23% MPP in Ahafu. These are one of the Akan blocks. In the Shanti region, that is where, if you are an MPP this morning, I think the alarm bell should be ringing to you. MPP is 34% in the Shanti region, unprecedented in our polling history. NDC is 30%. NPP lead NDC by 4 points in the Ashanti region. 23% of Ashanti region voters now say they are floating voters. Currently, if you look at where people who say they are floating voters are in the country, Ashanti region contributes the highest number of people or people who say they are now floating voters. It used to be Central region. No longer Central region. Now it's in the Ashanti region. That must be alarming. You look at the Bono region, Akan region, NDC is 50%, MPP 22%. Bono East, NDC is 46%, MPP 23%. In the Central region, which used to be a big floating voters, look at it now. NDC is 57%, MPP 19%. Only 10% today are floating voters in the Central region. Only 10%. There's a big shift. In the Eastern region, another big problem for MPP. 41% of people in their former stronghold or their stronghold say they are now NDC. This has been consistent in the last 2 or so polls in the Eastern region. Only 29% of them are saying they are now MPP. 16% are floating voters. Greater Accra, NDC is 53%, MPP 28%. 13% floating voters. Let's pick Northeast. Northeast, NDC is 36% today, MPP 21. Northeast region. So if you look at the regions MPP won in the last election, they have now become minority except Ashanti region.
Hey, Northeast region.
Yes.
NDC 36%, MPP 21%.
Yeah. And 21 say they are floating voters.
Wow. But that's where the MPP's flag bearer comes from.
Yes.
That's Dr. Mahmoud Bamia. And yet they've dropped in numbers.
In terms of party affiliation.
In terms of party affiliation.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they will all vote for NDC.
That's true.
But it is the beginning of a problem because people tend to be partisan when they are voting.
Yes.
So if your number is dwindling, it's more likely that on the voting day, they'll vote partisan way.
Okay. All right. So you've given us north. So you've given us northeast. You are now going to northern region.
Yes, northern region.
Okay.
Northern region, NDC 49%, MPP 26, 18 floating voters. OT, NDC 41%, MPP 15%, 14 are floating voters. In the Savannah region, NDC 41%, MPP 23, and 17% are floating voters. In the Upper East, NDC 42, MPP 13, and floating is 30% in Upper East. Upper West, NDC 56, 56%, MPP 21, and floating 6%. In voter region, MPP is 13%, NDC 42%. But look at the floating voters, 23% voter region floating voters. Western region, NDC 44%, MPP 18%, 15 floating voters.
But the NDC must be worried, isn't it?
In the voter region, yes. It tells you that you can't take anybody for granted. The same way it's happening in Ashanti region.
23% floating voters.
The same proportion as Ashanti region.
Yes.
Stronghold of
something very interesting is happening.
It's happening. It means people are becoming a bit, they can live. Party affiliation is not ethnicity. You can't change your tribe. Or you can change the club you support. I used to be Chelsea. I am now no team.
No, please. You are still Chelsea. No, you are still Chelsea. You are still Chelsea. Please. It's for better for worse.
Better for worse. So I think people must begin to understand the dynamics of voters within the context of demography. And I think when you get that right, you get many things right.
Wow. Both political parties have to be very, 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 very careful with their strongholds.
They need to employ demographers in their party research.
Wow. Musa, let's go to Western region.
Yes. Western region, look at it.
44% for the NDC. Yeah. MPP is 18%. Wow.
Western North, NDC 40%. MPP 18%.
Wow.
Now, what we have done also is to look at the regional blocks, which put things in perspective. For example, swing regions. If you put all the swing together, as we mentioned, NDC is 53% in the swing regions. Greater Accra, Central, and Western. MPP 24%. In the Akan block, that's MPP's base. Akan block. NDC is 41%.
Whoa.
MPP 26%. And this is the most alarming because if you can't really rally your people in your natural base, where else would you rally them from?
Because Akan block is supposed to, as you said, a natural allies of the NDC.
Yes, that's about 8 regions. The Ahafo, Bono East, Central, Eastern, Ashanti, Western, and Western North. 8 of them.
Wow. And then, so we're now going to look at the Northern Bloc.
Northern Bloc. NDC is 46%. MPP 23%.
What appears to be still in control of the Northern.
In the voter bloc, NDC is not even about up to 50%. They are 45% in voter bloc.
45% of people you polled in the voter region were proud to say they associated with the NDC.
Yes. Wow. Voter put together.
There's a problem there.
There's a problem.
That's a big
it tells you allegiances. They can move elsewhere. They may have moved to maybe floating voters. They may still vote with you. But
if the 23% you talked about earlier is anything to go by, I think it explains why it's 45%.
Yes.
If it looks at that, both parties in their strongholds are growing more floating voters than hardcore party. Yes, supporters. That's what is beginning to happen.
And that is a message that they should understand. If they don't get it now, I don't know when they will get it.
So that if they don't get it, it will get to a point where there won't be anything like strongholds anymore.
No.
It will be battlegrounds.
It's going to be transactional basis.
What can you do for me?
That's all. And that's what we are seeing. If you mess up in the performance, absolutely you will mess up in the election. It's no longer about allegiance and kind of...
So the blind allegiance days are giving way.
They are gone because we remember 78% of the voters are below 44 years.
Right. Okay, so to put it in context.
Yeah.
Right. So, these are discerning voters. They're reading between the lines.
And mostly with senior high and tertiary qualifications.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yes. Based on the numbers that the numbers in the report, there are more educated people who you are speaking to, and they can analyze things better. Now, region's contribution to MPP base ranked. Why is this important?
It's very important. Okay. Today, if you lined up 100 MPP voters across the country, you will find that 24% of them come from Ashanti region.
Okay.
Another 24 come from Greater Accra. So Greater Accra come together provide about 48% of all MPP voters.
Okay.
So if you are not doing well in Greater Accra and Ashanti region, you are not winning the election.
Right.
If you look at the NDC, Greater Accra accounts for 26% of their voters.
Yes, 26%.
followed by Central 12%, Ashanti region 11%. So their number is not heavily concentrated on 2 regions. They have diversified portfolio of.
So they have a better spread.
Better spread.
So then what it means is that it will be difficult for one particular region to
help you win election for NDC.
Yes, for the NDC.
You need a broader coalition of regions to win. And MPP is not surprising because if they rack up the numbers if you add Ashanti, Greater Accra, and Eastern region together, you are getting a good number, about 50%.
About 50%. So that explains why the MPP will always tell you that once we're able to get our people out in Ashanti, Bono, and perhaps Greater Accra, they're home and dry. So they only need three regions. In fact, it should have been 2, but now that they're losing grounds in their own home region, which is their strongholds, then it means that they need another region.
Yeah. And
you notice that the NDC is also working very hard to adopt Central and Western, because I think they've noticed what's happening in the Volta region where numbers are also beginning to go down. Now, whether they appreciate why the numbers in the Volta are going down so they can deal with this or not is another matter. Okay. But perhaps you can explain that they've noticed that depending on one region, and it's just my thoughts.
It's a wrong strategy.
It's a wrong strategy. You have to spread your base or your followership across the country, so that it gives you comfort, doesn't it?
It does.
It gives you comfort. So you talk about Greater Accra, you talk about Ashanti region, because I'm looking at the how do you call it, the graphs. You're talking about Ashanti region, you're talking about Greater Accra region, and then you have Northern region, isn't it?
Yeah.
Followed by Western region,
yes,
and then Volta region, and then Upper East region. That's for the NDC. Okay, no, that's for the what you call the regions contributing to MPP base rank.
So if you look at the MPP, about 10% come from Eastern region now.
Okay.
7% come from the Northern region. Western is about 5%.
Okay.
And Central region about 7%.
Okay.
So if you look at the big numbers, regions that are accounting for more than 5% or 5% or more, you have Western region, you have Northern region, you have Eastern region, Central region, Greater Accra, and Ashanti. About 6 regions account for a big number. Let me see.
Yeah.
For MPP.
Okay.
And NDC, you need to add a lot more because they are not kind of concentrated on one or few regions.
Let me now, you know, the NDC touts itself as a more socially inclusive government. So that then takes us to the party affiliations gender. Now, the vice president, we all know, is a woman, female. And I recall that when the choice was announced, one of the things that the president at the time, candidate John Mahama, said was that the NDC was a more socially inclusive government, and you know how that reflects in the party's policies and so on and so forth. Let's look at what the polls are saying as far as party affiliations are concerned, the gender, male, female.
Look, there's not much between them. Okay. Nationally, when it comes to MPP, male voters, 25% of them support MPP, and 46% support NDC. 17% say they are floating voters. UP 1%, Alan Martin guys, 2% other parties, and 10% of males say they will not disclose.
Okay.
When it comes to the women, MPP is slightly high in terms of compared to men. About 26% of them are female. And this is linked to the free education policy that was implemented. We've seen this data across many times. There are more people, more women who tend to support MPP than the men in terms of when you do comparison. The NDC is 44% female now. They've been behind some time. I think they are catching up a bit.
You mean the MPP?
The NDC, sorry, the NDC. When it comes
I've
to
seen 46%.
in the past, I'm saying in the past,
okay,
yes. So they
kind
of improving on the number of women who say they are NDC, and it tends to be linked with education. Whatever happens in education affects women mostly because of the senior high school, the pressure of having to support kids in school really fall on women. So we can see that women are moved more by education than any other key issues of voting. When it comes to floating voters, almost at par 17% men and 16% female. So not much in terms of the two political parties.
Even though the choice of Professor Jane hasn't really impacted that positively.
No, I mean
on affiliations.
See, we are talking about new generation of voters. So.
Yeah.
The Gen Zs and those 44. It's not about agenda. It's about transaction.
It's transaction.
It's transaction.
Which is what are you giving me?
Those who will be moved by gender and those sentimental issues are older voters, and they are becoming smaller and smaller in the population.
Yeah. So let's look at party affiliation in terms of age.
And this is where things get a bit tricky for MPP again. Among people who are 18 to 24 years, 22% of them say they are MPP, openly MPP. NDC is 44%. For those who say they are 25 to 34, 50% are NDC. So the youth, the big, the loud Gen Z group. MPP 20%. Among those 35 and 44, NDC is 43%, MPP 25%. Now, as the population gets older, MPP number begins to go up. Between 45 and 54, NDC is 40%, MPP 32%. Between 55 and 64, NDC 40, MPP 34. And above 65, NDC is 45, and MPP 31. So you can see that aging profile of the MPP voters tends to age as you move up. Whereas NDC is much younger.
Okay.
And this is something that they must really watch, because look, you must be appealing to the future more than appealing to the people who are fading out.
Wow. So even in crafting policies for both political parties,
look at this, the demography. Moro, it's about demographic. Once you understand the demographic, you'll be right.
But if what you're saying is anything to go by, which is now politics has become more transactional for this generation, and you talk about the Gen Zs, why hasn't free SHS impacted on these numbers? Because at least the MPP has given the younger one something.
The free senior high school policy was a double-edged sword.
Okay.
We lumped every voter into one basket and assumed they all have the same needs. They don't.
That's true.
The low-income voters care more about the free. And then the high-income voters care about the quality.
What is it, middle to high?
Middle to high, quality. Free education was more of a free than the quality. And unfortunately, Ghana moving from a lower middle income country means that there are fewer people who are poor than those who are middle and upper income. So if you appeal to those in the middle and upper income, the votes are there. If you appeal to those who are in the lower income, the votes are shrinking. So you make a choice as to what you should emphasize on. I think if there has been emphasis on quality, the vote impact would have been significant. Especially after the first 4 years. Before the first 4 years, there was a bit of wait and see, things would improve. But beyond that, people saw the entire program and began to really analyze the quality of it and also the free element. And they made a decision that, look, I don't think we like what we see. And that's why it wasn't a potent political campaign promise or policy that gave them anything in the last election.
Musa, there's a lot to talk about. There's party affiliation age, role percentage, party affiliations education, party affiliations education role percentage, there's party affiliation employment status, the gender education, there's party affiliations religious role percentage, party affiliations Christian denomination, party affiliations Christian denominations role, and there's party affiliations Islamic sects. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I wish time was our best friend so we can go through all of this. But if somebody's watching this one and wants to go and consume this information, where can he find this report?
I will later put it on our website.
Okay. Right. That's good.
But the media houses have them.
Oh, they have them. Yes, that's true. If you want a copy too, let me know. I'll send it to you. We'll take a short break. Musa, thank you so very much for your time. It's been really wonderful talking to you, and Yeah, you've made a day with your post, as you've always done anyway, ever since you started this, and we'll see how that goes. And please put it up on your website, and we'll announce it for people to go there. Sure. And if they have any follow-up questions, they're always free to call your offices for some clarity. Somebody, just a quick one, I beg you, just a quick one. Somebody actually wanted me to find this out from. He says that, Assalamu alaikum, my brother, kindly allow me to use this medium to commend Malam Musa Dankwa for his consistency and almost flawless polls. But just before the Ayawaso by-election, there was a video circulating that he was using Hausa to explain his polls. Was it AI generated or it was truly him? What went wrong with the NEMA prediction? I want him to briefly shed light on it, wishing the Kudis and the Bewas from Techiman a blessed Eid al-Fitr and a prosperous new year. Good morning. Sani Sali, who has sensed this one.
It was not AI generated. I spoke Hausa because Lima Ayawaso is largely Hausa speaking, so I thought they could hear me well on that. As to what happened in Ayawaso is poll. The TVs gave us the evidence. Right. What happened? I don't want to dwell on it.
That's it. Musa, thank you. Assalamu alaikum once again. Thank you very much for joining us. So that's Musa Dankwa's Chief Executive Officer of Global Info Analytics. Now, when I return, I have two very interesting guests with us who would help us analyze the impact of the Middle East crisis or conflict on the economy of Ghana. Please stay with us.
Start your Kids Day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future. The Ghana Exim Bank is 10 years old. Hooray! And to commemorate this milestone, the Ghana Exim Bank is hosting a 2-day international conference on the theme, A Decade of Enabling Export Trade and Industrial Transformation, Resetting Gexim for the Next Frontier. The event takes place on the 25th to 26th of March at the Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast City, 8 a.m. each day. President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will perform the official opening of the conference. Special guest and speaker, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosue-Jari, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. Conference host is Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank. For inquiries, call 0208-541-480 or visit eximbankghana.com/conference to register. Media partners, Daily Graphic, Media General, The Multimedia Group, City FM, Radio Gold and Channel 1 TV. And knowledge partners include IFC and SME Finance Forum.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson,
me didn't tum. Mr. Femi Kalika, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Femi once now.
Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action.
Sasso spray. Mr. Femi Sasso quell.
Yeah, go to my Sasa come on, Tom Preco.
When nations rise, it begins with bold conversations. When economies grow, it is driven by partnership. This April, Ghana's business and policy leaders converge at the Pro Business Forum 2026, the nation's premier platform for investment, enterprise, and economic transformation. With special guest of honor, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, joining captains of industry, financial institutions, investors, and entrepreneurs.
The Pro Business Forum is more than just an event. It is a call to action. And so let us work together to build a Ghana that is competitive, productive, and inclusive, and a Ghana that creates opportunities for all.
Come, let's engage in high-level dialogue, explore industry exhibitions, build powerful networks, and unlock real opportunities from finance and insurance to manufacturing, agribusiness, SMEs, and innovation. This is where it all happens. From the 3rd to the 5th of April 2026 at the Crow Convention Center in Praeso Hills. Go to www.crowbusinessforum.com and register now. To register for exhibitions, call 059 555 5885 or 059 555 5995. Pro Business Forum. Connect, promote, grow.
To the world, Ghana Impact Summit has been the stage for ideas that transform communities. Year after year, we connect leaders, innovators, and change makers, amplifying voices, driving solutions, and unlocking opportunities for Ghana and beyond. The chairperson, Alex Esiedu, board chair of Impact Investing Ghana, Amalate, CEO, Impact Investing Ghana, Percival Ofuri Ampoma, General Manager, Venture Capital Trust Fund, and many other visionary leaders and speakers personally invite you to Ghana Impact Summit 2020. This year's summit brings together voices that inspire action and mobilizes change. Together, we champion innovation, finance, sustainability, and women's leadership, creating pathways for lasting change. This March, be part of the movement. Ghana Impact Summit 2026. Date 24th March 2026. Venue Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel, Accra. Time 8 a.m. prompt. Theme Scaling Impact, mobilizing local capital for locally led change. Ghana Impact Summit is hosted by Impact Investing Ghana with support from GSG Impact and the Africa Impact Investing Group. Strategic partners. Collaborating partners, media partners,
birthday celebrants, you saw them, right? You saw them. Yes, happy birthday to each and every one of you celebrating your birthday today. I want to say that, well, have fun, but do that in modesty, and we can only wish you the best in life as well. Our own Alhassan D. Baba, who's another regional correspondent today, celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday, Alhassan D. Baba. And also to the other lady, she's one Mauli, something like that. I'm told that you are a lecturer. Yes, that's Cynthia Kwene Ajololo. Yes, I'm told that you're a lecturer to one of our hard-working, a member of the production team. That's Lois. And in fact, Lois, you said something to me earlier. I just want to, okay, so she's my public speaking coach and Mauli School Debaters Club patron. Yes, so Miss Ajololo, happy birthday to you. Lois appreciates you so very much, and she's thanking God for your life. So once again, Cynthia Kwene Ajololo, happy birthday. So let's now go to our main conversation, or one of the main conversations for today. Now we're talking about Middle East crisis. You do know that Iran, or some people say Iran, right? Iran has been at war with the United States and also Israel on one side. So United States and Israel on one side are fighting Iran. And we've all seen the devastating consequences politically, socially, and also economically, both there and also outside those jurisdictions, Ghana, Africa. In fact, the whole world is facing the dark consequences of this Middle East crisis. One, in terms of the prices of oil and gas, which is going up, which is spiking astronomically, and also the matters which has to do with currencies, because there's a relationship in there, isn't it? And we was trying to see how best Ghana can deal with this exogenous factors or global factors. Now, the politicians have been debating whether global factors can have an impact on Ghana or not. Something that I thought was quite obvious, but even that has become, a subject for debate. Now, it'll be interesting for me to find out from my guests what they make of that debate. But more importantly, you've also noticed that the price of gold is also plummeting. I think it's falling by some 4% or so. And we want to find out how, because today, Ghana's economy is hugely being anchored by gold. We're selling gold, we're raking in Forex, and we're using that Forex to show up our reserve. Some people have actually issues with that. If they actually think, or they have the view that we should rather keep the gold as a buffer to shore up our currency. The central bank doesn't agree with that. They think that because of the volatility of the prices of gold, it's better you sell it, make the money, and then use that money to sort of anchor the strength of the economy. But closely related to that is what the president recently said. I don't know, Bright, you have the video where the president says, Ghanaians, don't be too worried. Ghana has a resilient economy that can withstand or to deal with some of these global pressures, as compared to what used to be the case in February 2022 when we had COVID, which preceded the Russia-Ukraine war, as we say that the crisis on the Black Sea. Now, we want to find out a couple of things today. One, when the president tells us that the economy is resilient, is that the case? Or we're not there yet? And even if we're resilient, what are some of the things that we need to do to make sure that we're able to deal more decisively and more comprehensively with this global shocks as has hit almost the entire world? Joining me this morning to help me put all of this in its proper perspective are two economists. One is a development economist, and the other one is a lecturer at University of Ghana Business School, and in fact a senior lecturer. I'm talking about Patrick Esuming Professor. So Professor Patrick Esuming is a lecturer at University of Ghana Business School, and he's here with us this morning. Prof, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yes. And also Dr. George Donfe is a development economist and the president of the African Policy Lens. He's also a lecturer as well. He's also taking time off. He's very busy schedule to join us this morning. Good morning, Doc, and thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Good morning.
And I hope you're doing very well.
Right.
How is the family? How is the APL?
Everybody is doing very well.
Okay.
And APL, we are doing very well. We've been conducting series of surveys.
Okay. Right. Now, what was the whole idea behind setting up APL, the Africa Policy Lens? Now, who are you, and why did you see the need to set this, this think tank up?
Thank you very much, Mauro, and let me say very good morning to our cherished viewers. APL, I'm the founding president. I did this with two lecturers from GIMPA.
Okay.
Two others from UPSA, and two others from Legon. So we were 7 who sat together, and we decided that it is important we have a think tank like APL, so we can also contribute our quota through public discussions, such as what I'm doing this morning. You called me yesterday to be here, and I obliged and came because as a president, as we showed the way,
right.
you know, one of my colleagues, Dr. Ayrakwa, has also been here all the time.
Yeah.
And we also do a lot of surveys. We want to know what is happening so we can, for example, advise government. One of the biggest achievements for this less than a year old think tank, we put it together last year, April. One of the biggest achievements is that when MPP government was in power and they tabled this, intention of collecting 10% royalties on lithium.
Right.
I've forgotten the company. I think NDC then in opposition thought it was too low.
Right.
And some of us sided with them. Gold had been around 5%, and enough is enough. They better give us more so we can also use it to develop our country. And so when NDC came to power, one of the things that got us excited was that at least the lithium, the royalties will go beyond 10%. And one day we got up to hear that they had initiated a bill, and the bill was that they are proposing 5% royalties. So, wow, you protested against 10%. That it should be higher. Why do you bring it down to 5?
Right.
And so immediately we did press conference, and in fact, before we could say Jack, the news was everywhere, and Parliament suspended that bill, you know, and so I think we did very well on that. I wouldn't say it was because of what we did, but clearly you could see that I think people became annoyed and they suspended it. They have brought it back, not too good, but better than what they tabled initially. And so that's all we want to do. We want to work for the country so that one day Ghana, people wouldn't travel through the desert just to go to Spain and the other places, because you can stay in here and, also enjoy the days God has given you.
Okay. All right. So, Prof, let's start it this way. The International Energy Agency's chief is called Chief Fatih Birol. He says that a war in the West Asia could see the world face its worst energy crisis in decades. He says the situation is very, very severe. And he says many of us remember the 2 consecutive oil crises in the 1970s. At that time, in each of the crises, the world had lost about 5 million barrels per day, both of them together, 10 million barrels per day. Now, as of today, he says we've lost 11 million barrels per day, so more than 2 major oil shocks put together. The International Energy Agency is consulting with governments in Asia and Europe on the release of more stockpiled oil, if necessary, due to the Iran war. If it is necessary, of course, we'll do it. We'll look at the conditions, we'll analyze, we'll assess the markets, and discuss with our member countries. The IEA member states agreed on March 11 to release a record 400 million barrels of oil from strategic stockpiles to combat the spike in global crude prices. First of all, Prof, do you get a sense that, or do you think that maybe as a country we must begin to see some of these external shocks as a part of our lives, or some of these global crises as part of our lives, like which is that they will keep coming, but what we do to deal with it is more important? Is that where we are now? It's become like a norm.
Yeah, well, I would like to start by saying that, look, this particular crisis is the third warning in quick succession that we've had.
Yeah.
And an opportunity to do something about how we are running our economy. The first one was the COVID-19.
Yeah.
And people forget so soon the disruption it is to global supply chains. But the other lesson it taught us was that you can't depend on other countries for things that are important. Because we saw even when the vaccine started, countries were holding the vaccines. Countries who were considered friends, they were holding vaccines.
Right.
Then very soon after that, we had the Russia-Ukraine. The lesson from there is that you can't run the economy we are running and not you expect that you will be immune to shocks. That's what the shocks. I mean, you don't control. That's why they are shocks. You have no idea. You are sitting there minding your own business, doing your own thing, and it will happen. Ghana is one of the most open economies in the world, all of the world. In economics, we define trade openness generally in terms of the absolute sum of your export and import divided by the size of your output. Ghana, across the whole world, Ghana is one of the most open. What that means is that any problem that happens anywhere, whether it directly affects your export or import or not, is going to have an impact on you. So I think that what is imperative for us is to think about how we are running the economy and make sure that we run an economy where we are producing a lot of what we consume. And we are making sure that the economy is heavily diversified and that we are not overly dependent on importing raw materials, but we are adding value. I think that is the lesson that has been repeatedly. Every single time we go through one of these external shocks, this conversation comes up. Unfortunately, we don't follow through to take the action. But these three coming in quick succession, in a matter of 6 years, to get 3 of them, you should tell us, this time we have to act. This time we have to take action. In baseball, they will say 3 strikes and you're out. This is our 3rd strike. And I hope that this time you put all the shenanigans and politics aside and decide to take real action to try and rebuild the economy in such a way that, every economy will be affected by the shock. But you rebuild the economy so that the shock doesn't completely throw everything off gear and that you can withstand and you can move on. I think that's really what we haven't done, and that's what we should be seeking to do.
But Prof, do you see a case of perhaps policy inconsistency? Now here we are strengthening our cedi as against the dollar. The cedi, as we speak, is hovering around 10.45, 11 thereabout. I'm talking about interbank rates. That clearly would motivate and encourage people to import more, right? Now, importing more would also mean it makes us more susceptible to global shocks, as you rightly said. You call it open trade. So how do you explain a situation where we want to be able to protect and shield ourselves from global shocks, but at the same time, we have brought the cedi at a level that encourages and motivates and incentivizes people to want to import more? What help us, I mean, as an economist, what do you think the government is doing?
Well, I think you are right to know the inconsistency. I think when the president has said in the past that we want to shift to import substitution and we want to diversify our export base, then that kind of, it turns out to be some discussion that took place between the finance minister and the governor. That's what the president said. To try and force the cedi to be where it is, I think that's problematic. But you have to look at it as a broader context. When you are running an economy, you always have choices. Every choice has a consequence. It's clear that the strategy, a big chunk of the strategy between the finance ministry, especially the central bank, to deal with the inflation was to intervene in the market, in the forex market, to cause the cedi to be where it is. That is obviously was a big part of the strategy. Now, you do that, suddenly the currency has appreciated. It appreciated, now it is showing some sense of stability. The initial thing was an appreciation. But since then, it stabilized around the 11 mark.
Yeah.
But it has a consequence. We saw that one of the consequences was on government finances itself, because we are not getting the trade taxes as initially projected. But the bigger part of what the cocoa board is seeing, and the problem with the cocoa price, it also has to do with the fact that the currency has appreciated. But beyond that, the unspoken part is what that means for Ghanaian businesses and their incentive for exporting.
Okay.
So when the currency appreciates like that, if you export the same volume, you get the same amount of dollars, but I give you low amount of CD. Any Ghanaian business which is into exporting, their revenues and their costs, their costs are in CDs. So if their revenue is reducing because of the appreciation of the currency, that's an issue. So there are some primary exporting businesses that are really feeling the pinch. On the other hand, what that has done, it has helped to wipe out part of our debt. It has helped bring the debt to GDP ratio. It has helped reduce the interest cost. It has also helped the government to pay its debt. Because if you look at how much debt the government paid in 2025, if that was at an exchange rate of 16, it will be way more costly. So it is pros and cons. And I think this is the strategic choice that they've made. Okay, now you'll be able to bring the stability. But the stability, the relative stability we have, that's not the end goal. Now, what are we going to do with it? And I think this is where promoting the real side of the economy so that we get more into production and value addition. I think this is where we have to go. Because look, what has been done, whether we agree with it or not, this is the strategy that the administration has chosen to strengthen the city, to help us stabilize the macro environment. They've done that. But now, the next step is to move beyond the relative stability to cause the fundamental changes. Let's start adding value. And they have their own program, 24-hour economy. We need to begin to see actual implementation affecting how the economy is structured, our production, our value addition, as well as diversification of the exports. So I think that you are right that there's obviously an inconsistency, but it appears that, it would have been difficult for them to implement, say, some of the main policy programs, 24-hour economy, when the economy was still relatively unstable. So they made a choice that they are going to use the currency to bring more macroeconomic stability. It has its own pros and cons, whether you agree or not. But what has to happen now? Now that we are here, it's time to take the next step. Because achieving stability like this, we've done it before. It is what you do with it that matters. And I think the next steps are the most important parts.
Dr. Nonfe, what are your thoughts on what we're discussing, i.e. the matter which has to do with whether we should accept that the global shocks have become a part of us, and so when you're managing in the economy, you must always have it at the back of your mind that these things are likely to happen. But how you deal with it is more important. Must we, as you agree with Prof, that yes, you can't manage an economy without expecting any global shocks, but it's about how do you deal with it, or how well prepared are you to deal with these global shocks? Do you agree with them?
Yeah, thank you very much, Moro. And I would say, so you are talking about the fact that the shock will come anyway.
Yes, exactly.
And so how you deal with it is how you manage things when it comes is very important. But how well you are also prepared for such events is also very, very important.
Okay.
Because it's been happening in the 70s. You made reference to that.
Yeah.
Early 70s. We saw it from 72 all the way to 73. We saw it even around 1998. It happened.
Yeah.
So around 1998, 2008, there about 2007,
yes,
2008.
Exactly.
That's where about went to $147.
True.
Dollars, the highest we've ever experienced.
Yeah, under Kufuor's regime.
Yeah, and then recently we saw Russia before entering Ukraine in February 2022. They're also supplying 10 million barrels a day. And there was a drastic reduction in what they were supplying, and because of that, again, a barrel went all the way to $121, dollars, and it really hit the economy. Before we could say Jack, at the beginning of the year, 1 liter hovered around 6 cedis 35 pesos, and around that time $1 was 6 cedis 20 pesos. Because we were already in another crisis. That was a global supply, crisis coming from COVID, and we shouldn't forget that September 2019, inflation was 7.6.
Yeah.
And then even I think 2019, it ended with 7.9, and we thought we were doing very well. But because of these shocks, inflation January 2022 was 13.9. You know, but we entered February, the very month that they entered Ukraine, Russia entered Ukraine, and it went up to 15.7. And the year ended with 54%, the highest inflation in about 27 years.
Right.
You know, and so these shocks, we see them all the time. You know, they are not new to us. Yeah, but how well are we prepared? And that's where I agree with my brother. Since 1957 as a country, we haven't been that serious. We haven't been serious. You know, we depend so much on what people have produced. You know, we were just like Singapore, South Korea in the early 1960s. We were just like them when, South Korea, when they were talking about Samsung and all those other things, we also were talking about Akasanoma.
Yeah.
You know, today where is our Akasanoma? Everything here is Samsung. I mean, you see what I'm using.
Right.
You know, and we depend so much. You know, we raw materials, yes. Look at cocoa. I talk about cocoa all the time. You know, and the last time I checked, cocoa contributes about $15 billion US.
That's a lot.
To global GDP. 15 billion. In Ghana, on average, we supply about 20% of the beans. Cote d'Ivoire, almost about 40%. And so if you do the calculation, Ghana should be getting between 25 to 29 billion from, you know, the 15 billion. But what happens? We get around 2 billion because we send almost everything raw to countries such as Switzerland.
We don't add value.
We don't add value. That's what my brother was talking about. Switzerland, every year they will get on average 13.5 billion from cocoa. They don't grow cocoa. Belgium, about 14 billion from cocoa. Holland and all those, they are making so much. US gets, more income from cocoa than any other country.
Right.
About $20 billion a year. And you sit here and you are not, you are so comfortable with selling everything in raw. And that is why we are not creating jobs.
Right.
Sometimes when people speak against our lecturers, I call myself one that we are not too good because we are not able to produce students who go out there and create jobs, but we are producing students who will be chasing jobs. Yes, to some extent, I wouldn't say we are excellent, but then the economy also has something to do with why people don't get jobs. Because even if you don't have certificate and go to US today, tomorrow there's something there for you to do. Because almost every step on your way, there's a factory producing something.
True.
And here we are, we go to China, and we use dollars to buy toothpick, timber pot, and all those things that 69 good years. 69 years. And so our economy is not resilient at all. We are so fragile. You know, because almost everything that you are using, what you are eating, what you are wearing, and look around us, almost everything is all imported. And so when anything happens to those countries where you import these commodities, obviously it's going to affect you. You know, but the whole question is, what are we going to do about that? Enough of the talks. I think it is time for action.
Okay.
You know, if you look back to the economy, or all the economies historically have transitioned from primary sector to the secondary before the tertiary. And my brother talked about the rare sector. You know, that's where you get to develop the base. You know, the agricultural sector does so well. Later, it gives way to the secondary, that the industrial sector, and the industrial sector gives way to what? The tertiary. In our situation, and not only Ghana, this is almost very common to almost all the emerging market economies. You know, we have now moved from primary to tertiary.
Okay.
So we call that in economics leapfrogging. You know, and so the manufacturing is not working.
Yeah.
And we import virtually almost everything. And you are not creating jobs in the process. You know, of course, tertiary trading is doing very well with job creation.
Yeah.
At the tertiary. But I think the manufacturing sector will help us to build a resilient economy. And I would want to say that if you read the 24-hour economy that my brother talked about, is so rich. You know, there are a lot of things in that particular document. They have what they call Make Ghana.
Right.
Make Ghana is seeking to bring Ghana back from the tertiary to the secondary.
Right.
So the manufacturing, especially the manufacturing sector, to create more jobs there. And when you are able to produce more, you cut what? The import. I mean the import. You know, when you cut the import, and that's why, you know, I've always I've been almost everywhere saying that the current appreciation of the cedi is what? Artificial. And as my brother said, we've seen it before. 2022, when we started with $1 going for cedis and 20 pesos, what happened? Bank of Ghana came to the market to protect the cedi. By July, $1 was going for around 8 cedis, 20 pesos. But August, September, October, when Bank of Ghana could not come to the secondary forest market to protect the cedi as they did for the first 7 months, what happened to the cedi? Before we could say that October, $1 was going for 17 cedis in the forest market. But in the interbank, it was a little over what? 15 cedis. When later we got more dollars, what did we do? They pumped. And by by December 2022, $1 interbank was 8 cedis.
The government tells them, I mean, this
was 8 cedis.
Right.
So what you're saying is not
it's not entirely new argument, and you're right that you've been on record to have made this argument on other platforms. But the government's response and the government's explanation or the government's reaction to this argument is that there's a twin approach that the government has adopted in running this economy. One, which is exporting a lot of gold, right? You decided to, when I say you, I mean the previous government decided to reserve this gold, a lot of it, and you exported some, but you reserved more. This government has a different approach. So let's export more of the gold to be able to rake in forex. Now, that's one. But the government will also tell you that one other main policy intervention has to do with what it calls fiscal discipline. Look at the number of ministers who have been hired. Look at the number of CEOs, etc., etc. The government will tell you that they've been more careful, they've been more cautious in public expenditure, which has had an impact on our fiscals. So if you attribute the strength of the currency in the past, as you rightly said, to just the fact that, you know, we had problems with exporting some of our raw materials, and so that cedi sort of plummeted. Would that be entirely accurate?
Yeah,
because the government says it's learning from some of the past mistakes.
So let me say this quickly. Okay. It's not, when we say the government size, it hasn't gotten to do with only the 60 ministers you have.
Okay.
So if you have presidential staffers responsible for 16 regions,
right,
or NDC former organizers or so, if I'm right,
yes,
are now presidential staffers responsible for their regions,
right,
and they are.
So you have to add all of that.
I mean, if you do that and check the budget, if you check the budget, you will see that when we had the so-called big government, the so-called elephant-sized government, and now there's no difference. I was waiting to see a drastic reduction in the government and machinery, what goes there. But that is not what we are saying. If I did nothing at all, 2025 one is far higher than 2024.
Felix,
you know,
Felix,
and so sometimes
Felix Kuchukwati tells us that we should wait till the government
now
brings us
the figures that are available.
Yes. Oh, the figures are available.
In fact, if you look at their projections, the projection was even over 500 million.
Okay.
Against I think 200 something. I've forgotten the figure.
In terms of what? Compensation.
For the old government, their government size.
Right.
It was it hovered between 200 to 300.
Okay.
But this one, the projection was 500.
Right.
When it is projected at 500, over 500, it doesn't mean that is actually what is happening, because the main government budget was 269 billion.
Okay.
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 During the media review, they revised it downwards to 250 billion.
Billion.
And during the SONA, I had something like 194 billion, the total expenditure. So it means that governments had decided last year, April, to spend 269 and could spend about 194. Look at the gaps. So many things they said they would do, they couldn't do.
So your question is, we need. I've yet to see these figures, but the government would have to explain what makes up for the difference. That if you have a smaller number of appointees, how come your compensation figures are higher?
We are waiting.
Okay.
We are waiting for the last figures.
Okay.
And some of us, we make, that's the meaning of APL. We'll come at and question.
All right.
Yeah, but let me quickly say this. I made mention about the fact that
we've seen this in the past
24-hour economic document is very good. People listening to me. Yeah, if you look at the document and you read from the first page to the last page, that is our solution. It's so good.
You have endorsed it.
Seriously. But I have a problem with it. You know why? It is not too different from Rawlins's Vision 2020.
Really?
If you look at Rawlins's Vision 2020 that was supposed to be implemented from January 1996 to the year 2020, we were supposed to become a middle-income country. You know, go and look at the key pillars, and they are there.
Right.
Kufuor came. I'm a former President Kufuor. He also brought in Ghana Poverty Reduction Strategy. PIPA 1, we had DPRS 2. The fundamental, the pillars, the same. Then, Professor Mills came, Ghana Shared Broad Government Agenda 1 and 2. They say Ghana Beyond Aid Agenda. In fact, I'm telling you that some of the sentences are even repeated. Repetition.
But there's nothing new under the sun.
So my question is, if we have all these beautiful documents and we are still where we are, that's why I don't have.
So it's not the idea, it's the implementation.
That's right, exactly. But that is also not to suggest that this book cannot implement it.
Right.
But if you ask my opinion,
okay. So you're back to my statement. There's nothing new under the sun. But Prof, you said something which I thought I should ask you a follow-up question on. Your issue is that our decision, our policy decision to strengthen the city. Now, whether or not it's forced or not is another conversation we can have. But we strengthen the city. Now, that in itself has come with its own consequences. But you are also right when you say that in economic management, there's always a trade-off. So it depends on what direction you want to take and whether you're ready to deal with the consequences of whichever policy prescription you are implementing. And you mentioned, for instance, cocoa prices and the fact that farmers are saying that what is coming to them is not enough. And importers will also tell you that exporters will tell you that what they get in terms of their revenues when they export has sort of dwindled. But there's a counter-argument. The counter-argument is that in terms of the real incomes of these people who are getting these monies, you would notice that they are better off today. Now, if you take the cocoa farmer, for example, you're a cocoa farmer, you sold, say, last year or 2 years ago, you made, say, 10,000 cedis. Today, you're making 5,000 Ghana cedis. But that's not enough, because what you're earning is only a means to a certain end. And what is that end? You are going to use the money to buy items within here in Ghana. Now, if those items, the prices of those items have reduced, aren't you better off? So if you're a cocoa farmer, you want to go and buy, say, a bag of cement. If you used to earn 10,000 cedis from selling a bag of cocoa, and say a bag of cement, it's say 200 Ghana cedis. Today, a bag of cement is say 100 Ghana cedis. So in terms of your real income, you are better off. So the argument about what you're getting when you export, as against what you used to get in the past when the cedi was hovering around say 14, 15, dollar to a cedi, or 14 something cedis to a dollar. The argument is neither here nor there. How do you explain, or what are your thoughts on this argument that I've heard some of your colleagues in the economics profession make?
I think it will be difficult for anybody to make the argument that real incomes have increased.
How? How so?
Because if you take your example, but the inflation number doesn't tell us that average prices or cost of living has reduced. It doesn't.
It doesn't. Because it's not a deflation.
It's not a deflation.
It's a disinflation.
It's a disinflation.
And there's a difference.
Yes, because what has happened is that prices, the rate at which prices were increasing has reduced. But there's no question that the cost of living is still going up. It's just that it's going up slowly. So you can't tell any person that, any farmer, that you are receiving at this rate, and therefore, because inflation has reduced, your incomes have gone up. No.
But Prof,
nominal incomes are reducing.
Okay.
Prices are still rising. So It's difficult to make the argument.
But
And let us take
isn't it also true that depending on what item you intend to use that income to buy, you may be an ultimate beneficiary?
Absolutely right. But you see, there's a reason why we calculate inflation the way we do.
Okay.
Because you know that you buy different things.
Mhm.
Some of them, the price may have reduced. Some of them, the price may have been the same.
Okay.
Some of them, the price may have gone up.
True.
So when we average everything out, and we weigh them based on your expenditure shares, it tells us that the overall number is that inflation has reduced, but prices haven't reduced.
Oh, so you're saying that a more scientific benchmark to be able to tell whether your real income has gone up or not is to align with inflation and not the specific items that you're buying. Is that the case?
That's really what inflation applies for the economy as a whole. But that's not to say, if you take a farmer, and assuming that it's a farmer that usually is primarily home production, or they consume what they produce, then even then, what has happened is that, you see, if the farmer is one who sells and the prices of the food items have gone up, then obviously, in that case, and he's not buying anything off the market, whose prices have gone up, you can't really say that they are better off, because then the nominal income they are receiving has reduced. But let's go to the broader picture about the export businesses. You know, there's the businessman who is exporting cannot come and tell the workers that, oh, the currency has appreciated. Therefore, what you are getting in nominal, what you are getting in CD terms is lower, so I will pay you less. They've signed contracts, they've signed agreements with their partners, and they have to respect. So I think you cannot underestimate the impact of the appreciation on them. And then the importation. I think that if you look at last year, I'll give you the example of what we heard about rice farmers.
Okay.
And that gives you a clear case of what the appreciation has done.
Okay.
We've been complaining about domestic rice production. Last year, rice production did brilliantly. But what happened? Because the currency has appreciated so much, the imported rice became so cheaper, and farmers were struggling to sell their rice.
Right.
Now that is a problem. It's a problem because the way farmers behave, if they invest this year and it generates a loss, and they struggle to sell, it becomes very difficult for them to reinvest the following year. So I think that, look, if you want to see the net gain.
But won't the difficulty be dependent on the cost of buying the very items that they need to go back into farming?
So, okay, let's start the cycle.
Yes.
If you want
I spent 20 cedis on fertilizer.
If you want to nitpick,
yes,
let's start the cycle.
Okay.
If you look at, there's a long gap between the planting season
and
the growing season
True.
and the harvesting season.
True.
So if you look at last year, the planting season, first quarter, the currency was still around the 15, 14.
True.
And they would have already incurred that cost. And at the time they are trying to sell to turn around, they are struggling to sell. So if you bring in that timing argument, it's not obvious that, first they need to be able to sell, to repurchase the inputs that you are making the point that they are cheaper now.
True.
So, but that is just even a partial equilibrium analysis. When we are looking at the impact of a policy, we don't just focus on the sector.
Right.
We look at the overall effect.
Okay.
Like I said, we have a fair idea how much the appreciation has saved the economy in terms of even our debt. Upward of around 120 billion.
Yeah.
Now, how much has it cost the exporters? How much has it cost cocoa board? How much? So you have to put all of them together to be able to have a fair idea. But making that, we are not going back. We have already, like I said, it's been done.
Yeah.
Whether we agree with it or not, this is the strategic choice, the policy choice that has been made.
Right. Okay.
The point is that having arrived here, let's not be resting on our laurels and start praising ourselves and say, oh, we have arrived, because we haven't.
Right.
The problem, the underlying problem that makes us so susceptible to external shocks.
Okay.
That problem has not been solved.
Okay. We will play the president's video where he talks about the fact that the economy is resilient. And so Ghanaians must be rest assured that the global shocks won't hit at that as hardly as it would have if it were in 2022. But before we do that, Doc, what do you make of the real income argument?
Yeah, I mean, before I also do that, let me just, add something to what my brother said. In this country, we always make this mistake that when inflation goes down, it means prices are going down. That is not true.
Yes.
The moment you hear the word inflation, it means prices are going up. Mm-hmm. If inflation happened to be zero, then prices are stagnating. What you bought last year, today you are buying them.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And as he rightly put it, we don't have one commodity. So I hear people say the cement that you used to buy today it is this. No, if you do that, in fact, you are not doing academic analysis.
Okay.
Because we have over 307 or so items, commodities in the basket.
Right.
And so at any point in time, and it's not only recently, you know, that has always been the situation. Some of them, the prices will definitely go down. It doesn't even matter that 2022 when we recorded 54 headline, year on year of 54, that even that month, December, some prices fell, you know. And so that's what happens. At any point in time, some of the commodities, their prices would go down, some of them will stagnate, some of them would increase. What we see is the average. That is telling us what is happening in the market. And so you don't tell somebody that you were receiving 3,100 2024. And at that time, I mean, inflation was 23. Today it has gone down to 3.3. For that reason, if you have almost 2,600, that is better. It's not true. It's not true. Because inflation is not negative. You know, you were talking about disinflation, you were talking about deflation. It's not deflation. And so once it is at inflation, even if it is 1, it means that on average, what you bought about 12 months ago at 100, you are buying it at 101. Okay? And so let us be very careful. And this argument, I have been on several platforms. Sometimes when you pick it, they will silence you. No, not everybody's an economist. So sometimes when it becomes very difficult for me, I just give up. Right. But if you meet somebody like Professor Asumi, and let me say, Prof is not a senior lecturer. We always make this mistake. He's not a senior lecturer. Right. He's associate professor. Okay? And so Legon lecturer, senior lecturer, associate professor, a full professor. He's associate professor. And so associate professor cannot be senior lecturer. I've seen that, so you guys should be checking. You guys should be checking this. You know. And so when you meet
associate professor,
so when you meet somebody like this man who understands how CPI is computed, and that is why elsewhere experts are left or are given that room to speak on issues. You know, unfortunately in Ghana, everybody is anywhere. Otherwise, when economic issues come, we need economists to discuss it. If other issues come, it's about health. You know, sometimes you call me and say, no, I can't comment on this.
Yes.
You know, when it is a political thing, I'm not a political scientist. If you ask me, I'm going to use my ideas that may not be the truth. You know, I will use my experience. But as an economist, he's not using his experience. He's using macro level experience. That's what he has learned.
Right.
You know, and so we have to be very careful. When I saw people moving from one cocoa farm to the other, teaching the cocoa farmers that they are now getting more with the 2,000, almost 2,600 compared to the, I mean, that is a big mistake.
Okay.
You know, and so it is not like that. Your question again?
No, the real income.
Yeah.
Real income argument.
Yeah. So the real income as the moment inflation is going up,
yes,
it means that once it is 3.3, it is declining. But once it is 3.3,
okay,
and you were receiving, let's say, 100 cedis last year,
yes,
and this year you are also receiving 100 cedis.
Yes.
What it means is that your real income has gone down, but nominal income is the same.
Yes.
But the real income has gone down. Exactly.
Okay.
And so anytime inflation,
and so, because inflation is eating a part
exactly
of, a part of that income.
So when inflation is going up, you expect the increase in income to also go up proportionally or higher.
Okay.
If you want to stay afloat,
right,
it should be proportional.
To make up for.
If you want to do better, it should be higher. So sometimes governments pretend they have increased salaries,
yes, when
in actual fact they haven't. Because I have always been, I'm talking about sometimes you hear 23%. When inflation is 30%. You know, you haven't. Yeah. Because what you have brought...
It's a gap of 77%.
Exactly. So, I mean, because Ghanaians, almost all of us are suffering from money illusion. And so, the moment the money goes up, we are happy, but we don't think so much about how much that money can buy. Okay. And so but he says something. Okay. I've done that calculation. And let's go there quickly.
Okay.
About how CD appreciation has affected the cocoa farmer.
Yes.
I'm not saying that government policy should only be about the cocoa farmer. Okay. But you see, Ghana, almost every year, on average, we sell 2 billion. We earn $2 billion from cocoa. Almost every year, on average. Okay. Now, last year around this time, $1. If Ghana government had earned $1 from cocoa, that would have been all 15 cedis.
Yes.
Today, if they earn $1, that is what? About 11 cedis. So the difference is what? 4 cedis.
Yes.
If you multiply the 4 cedis by the $2 billion we have earned from cocoa in the last 12 months, that gives you what? 8 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay.
But we were owing cocoa farmers only 4.2 billion. Only 4.2 billion. And so that is how the exchange rate affect the adverse consequences. In as much as when you push more dollars into the system and CD gains value, it has with fuel, prices, pump prices will come down. It has its own positives,
right,
but it also has its own negatives.
Okay.
In August last year, GRA boss came to say that they were losing 30% of their targeted revenue. So what they meant was that if they were seeking to rake in 100 cities, they were getting 70. And that is not surprised to hear that the initial budget of 269 billion that government was going to spend, they couldn't even spend up to 200 billion. And that is affecting all of us because that's over 70 billion if government has spent. Some of them, maybe our salaries would have gone up, maybe a particular road would have been constructed. So many things. So economy, when you are managing economy, you need to create the balance. As much as it is good, you pump more dollars to sustain the value of the city. You should have created the balance so you don't hurt the economy so much. And this caution, I was almost the first to say it on TV3 Key Point. I think either first or second week of June. And I was roasted that day because it wasn't easy. But you see, the very thing, when I made mention that city's strength, because around 10 April last year, city, once $1 was going for 14 cities and 90 pesos. First week of June, it was 10 cities, 30 pesos. The city was the strongest currency in the world. I didn't celebrate it. I said, no, what we are saying is Bank of Ghana that is artificially, mechanically pumping the dollars. No, now I've got somebody, Professor Khaled is there, if I get the name right.
Yes, Professor Khaled.
He's
an economic
spokesperson for the bank.
Economic advisor.
Yeah, he wasn't comfortable with me at all. It is a certain fiscal consolidation. So, in fact, almost all the people on the program, my own brother Martin Pebu, Nelson, Dofia Mako, a certain fiscal consolidation. The president went all the way to Japan to tell the world that he's been able to use fiscal consolidation to arrest the city. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. Fiscal, it is true that you can use fiscal and consolidation about fiscal prudence. Yeah. And fiscal prudence is trying to match your revenues with your expenditure. So if you decide to reduce your expenditure as a government, you are the biggest spender in the economy. So if the government is not spending, people otherwise would have gone out to import.
Okay.
And they are selling. Who is going to buy from them? So that edge of always chasing dollars and all that, chasing dollars and all that slows. So it is true. But 7 weeks for CD to drop from 14.9, 10th April to about 10.3 first week of June, it cannot be because of fiscal consolidation, even if it is playing part.
Right.
The major reason was the aggressive intervention. And recently, BOG boss came to say that they have been aggressively intervening.
But here's the thing, don't fair.
And I call myself prophet because you see, because I said this, I was insulted.
Right.
And now the very thing that I said on that program, that people insulted, threatening me, sending me messages. Sometimes I open my WhatsApp and I do enjoy the insult. I see Jimmy, I love it all. That's part of But at the end of the day, what people call me Jimmy for saying, the BOD boss has said it. And I sent a message to Alfredo Kansi. That what are you telling your guys? Are they going to attack the BOD boss? Because as admitted, that is aggressive intervention that has done what we are saying.
You felt vindicated?
Seriously, and now I'm prophet. No fair.
All right. I noticed you raise your hands.
Well, I think that, it's a matter of attribution.
Okay.
But yes, the fiscal consolidation, it has helped. There's been substantial fiscal consolidation,
right,
if not for nothing at all. You see, the decision of the current administration to shift away from overemphasis on revenue by adding new taxes to more expenditure restraint, it's made an impact. I think you see that consumer confidence started going up, and the business confidence, that change of direction made an impact. Of course, but the intervention has been a big deal. Has been a big part of it, but you cannot completely say that.
But the central bank, Doc, has said it time and again that what it has done is not a financial intervention, it's a financial intermediation. And it's not new. It's something which is practiced. We can talk about quantums, which is an entirely different argument.
Can I make a point on that? Can I make a quick point on that?
You disagree?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Because that's also another point. When we say they are intervening, it doesn't mean we've not been doing that.
Okay.
In fact, currently,
yes,
our exchange rate regime is managed floating exchange rate regime. And so once it is managed floating, the floating aspect is the demand and supply.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The demand and supply of foreign currency determine the strength of your local currency. And so if the demand is higher than the supply, CD suffers.
True.
And that is why periodically the bank enters.
Yes.
So it's not as if they have not been doing that.
Okay.
And when we even started the program, when we started the current extended credit facility, May 2023, they told us not to supply more than 80 million. Because they did this so we could increase, the reserves over at least 3.2 months of import cover, as it is stated by the West African Convergence Criteria.
Yes.
Let me say that exactly 3rd December, you can call, the then finance minister, Amin Anta, right?
Dr. Amin Anta.
Yeah, so you can call him and ask him this. Exactly 3rd December, they met him during the staff level agreement with IMF,
yes,
and stated that now you've gotten almost 9 billion, and that is about 4 months import cover.
Yes.
So you are doing well now. You could what? Supply. At that time, $1 was over 16 cities.
Yes.
But you see, immediately they started pumping, and that's why the day Nana Akufo-Addo handed over power to His Excellency President Mahama, $1 was going for 14.70 pesos.
Yes.
That was the reason. So it's not new. That's why I also made reference to the fact that interbank exchange, October 2022, hovered a little about 15 cities.
Yeah.
But December, it had dropped to 8 cities.
Okay.
Because of that intervention. And when you do that, in fact, if the managed side, because the whole regime is floating managed.
Yes.
If the mandate is the reason for CD's stability, normally it is artificial.
Okay.
You can't control it.
Right.
It means that it is being determined, controlled by factors beyond your control.
All right.
Because for how long can you get more dollars to intervene? About 1 billion. Yes. These days they do almost about 1 billion every month.
Yes.
For how long can you get that? And now you are talking about dollar going down. Now we have about 14.5 billion as a result. This is the highest nominal we've ever had. But that notwithstanding, if gold prices come down today, it's going to affect the bank's ability to intervene. And right away, you're going to, city is going to suffer. And so where lies the resilience?
Okay. So good. So then this question you've just posed then ushers us in into our next question. But before perhaps I ask that question, there's another interesting debate which is being waged by the two, again, major political parties, which is that the Middle East crisis is not different from what had happened to us in 2019 and 2022. We're talking COVID and we're talking Russia-Ukraine war. Now, there are some who say that there's a fundamental differences, and there are some who are saying the two are the same in terms of happenings on the global stage and how that affects us as a country. Now, Prof, from where you sit, do you see any similarities between COVID-19, Russia-Ukraine war, and how it impacted on Ghana, and how the Middle East crisis is impacting us in this country? Now, in answering that, we also have to bear in mind that this is something that the president has said. Brad, let's play this video.
Bibi a frɛ brɔfo kasa mu resilience na mɛka sɛ bibi a frɛ brɔfo kasa mu resilience ewiase nneɛma timi si te sɛ yɛwɔ hɔ a COVID-19 baeɛ ekyire Russia-Ukraine war wɔ hɔ a na bibi aba sɛ wamma wo sika sɛm mu anyɛ den a saa nneɛma no ba na ama economy na abɔfom enti yɛayɛ stability yɛwie yɛpɛ sɛ yɛma yɛsika sɛm yɛ den economy no yɛ den sɛne ɛbɛyɛ a sɛ hwan ne hwan na ɛkɔ ntokwa o sɛ hwan na ɛfokɔ ntokwa o yɛ economy no bɛnya ahoɔden na etimi astande saa shock no na me wɔ gyidie sɛ nneɛma a yɛatoto no saa afe baako yi ama economy na enya ahoɔden enti war yi a Israel ne Iran ne hwan a mɔko yi nyame adom nti yɛ economy no ebetimi agyina.
All right, Doc, help us appreciate whether there's any basis to compare the two global events, and then maybe bring in the issue of whether we are a resilient economy. Are we there yet? Are we a resilient economy or just a stable economy?
Well, first of all, I don't think we cannot directly compare any two external shocks.
Okay.
They are never directly comparable.
Right.
Because each shock comes with its own specific context and timing in history and magnitude and direction of effect.
Okay.
So, but frankly, if it's not for politics, I see no reason why we should try and compare them. Because don't forget that at the time of COVID, we really didn't have, there was relative stability on the international front before COVID actually started.
Okay.
Then you can say the COVID had not completely died down when the Russia-Ukraine
struck. Don't
forget that Russia-Ukraine is still ongoing. And it's building on. Don't forget that Israel, Hezbollah, and the Palestinians, this has also been ongoing. And then this has come to lay on it. So I don't understand why anybody want to compare. Because look, COVID-19 and the measures that you were required to do, a shock that completely shuts down international travel and international logistics. It's completely different from by nature. But all shocks are different. So I don't think we should get...
But as the fact that we also earned 2 billion cedis in total from the COVID crisis, does that change the dynamics of your argument?
So whatever we earn from it, my argument will always be that you can't just, if it's not purely for political purpose, I see no reason why you want to make the argument. The most important thing, because there will be another shock after this, is the economy of Ghana in a better position to deal with these shocks?
Are we?
I think it's a stretch for the president to say that the economy is resilient.
Really?
Yes, I think it's a stretch.
Okay.
Now, we are relatively stable. I mean, the economy has achieved stability. You can't question that. But we are not in a position to say we are resilient to the extent that we can withstand it. You see, this particular war is only starting. It's only kicking in. And within a couple of weeks, we've already seen impact on fuel prices at the pumps.
Yeah.
If it continues for longer, the impact will be such that, we really begin to see the macro indicators, some of them reverse. So I think that, but fundamentally, you see, if you say we are resilient, a big chunk of it has been the CD and the strength against the dollar.
Okay.
Now, if you are thinking about what this war will do, one of the things you should understand is that our export earnings has become so concentrated. And if you look at the data that the Bank of Ghana put out, in February last year, gold export made up only just about 49% of our export earnings.
Right.
In February this year, it's already 68%. So there's a concern that a lot of what we are seeing, much of what we are seeing, is built around our strategy on gold. And that if gold prices were to collapse, then a lot of the gains that we see will not look so lofty anymore.
Right.
So I think that is there. But what we want to do is to build an economy that is based on production and value addition.
But that takes time, doesn't it?
So that takes time. So we are not saying that, when we say we are not resilient yet, we are not saying that the new administration, which is only 14 or so months in power, that they have failed. What we want to see is that what they have put down, that they are going to do to make the economy more resilient, we want to see them move into that, beyond the stability. But we shouldn't be quick to announce and proclaim that we've achieved that resilience, because we haven't. We have now achieved the stability. Let's begin to build on it. When we say we are going to add value, and I do agree with George when he says that the 24-hour economy document is a great document that is trying to address different aspects of the challenges of the Ghanaian economy. But we haven't seen it in action. We haven't seen the value addition. We haven't seen the export diversification. If anything, there's been an export concentration, which makes us even more susceptible.
Right.
So, an economy is not generating the jobs as we want. We are not adding value, we are not producing. We are becoming even more dependent on imports. So you cannot say on all of these that we have become resilient. We have laid a foundation for us to build the resilience. Let's move. Let the real sector kick in. What we have done is the financial side, which is relatively easier to do. And it's important that we have done it. But we have to now start producing. Let's start. We say we're going to do 24-hour economy. We spend time building secretariat and authority. But, I think that some of the low-hanging fruit that we could do, guaranteeing market for domestic production, we could have done that. That is like some of the basic things that may not necessarily require new government outlay. If the government of Ghana said, all Ghanaian, the agencies, army, police, fire service, all government agencies that are buying goods and services, and it enforces that everything is bought Ghana made, that generates enough market.
But the president has already directed that. He's asked all these department agencies and ministries to buy made in Ghana goods. It's directed, but whether it's been implemented is another matter. But let me ask you this, Doc. Dr. Theo Champong, has expressed an opinion on this resilience of our economy. It's a 4-paragraph thing. I'll just read it quickly and I will ask whether you agree with him. So he says, the measuring economic resilience. It says economic resilience is the capacity of an economy to withstand a particular shock, be it external or internal, and to recover rapidly to the previous level of growth or other better indicators. Now, he then outlines 5 components of economic resilience. Now, he says that it starts with economic diversity. A broad base of industries reduces vulnerability to sector-specific shocks. Useful measures include export concentration, HHI, the share of primary commodities and exports, economic complexity, sectoral employment structure, and regional spatial diversification. That's 1. 2, fiscal buffers. Having financial reserves and disciplined policy, i.e. lower debt, allows governments to respond to crisis. Capacity to deploy counter-cyclical policy when shocks hit. Key indicators include debt to GDP, fiscal deficit, tax revenue, mobilization, interest payments as a share of revenue. And also talks about primary balance trajectory, policy rate space, FX reserves, and reserve adequacy. That's the second factor. Then he talks about flexibility, and he says, look, open trade and exchange rate flexibility allow for the adjustments to external shocks. Relevant indicators include NPL, which is non-performing loans, LPL ratios, banking sector capacity adequacy, capital adequacy, credit to GDP gaps, private debt levels, current account balance, and the maturity currency structure of external debt. 4, robust institutions and social capital. Strong social safety net and financial systems protect households and firms. Economies recover faster when people can absorb shocks without severe social stress. Indicators include unemployment, labor market flexibility, informal employment, regulatory effectiveness, inequality, HDI, education, health outcomes, and social protection coverage. And the final one, the last one, adaptive capacity. Indicators include R&D, spending patents, digital infrastructure, ease of doing business, openness to FDI and technology transfer, and the share of high-skill employment. So this is what his explanation of resilience is. Now, when you look at these parameters, do we tick the boxes? I'm talking about Ghana.
The second group of indicators, we absolutely tick the boxes.
Which is the
FX,
economic diversity,
the
fiscal buffers,
flexibility. So that area,
open trade and exchange rate,
we take that one.
Allow for adjustment to external shocks.
I think that we can put equal weight on all of them.
Okay.
I agree. These are broad indicators that you use to judge
resilience of an economy. Okay.
I think on the second one, relating to the fiscal side, you have to take. The third one about the exchange rate, you have to take minus. But for me, the first one, which is the diversity of the production base, for me, that is the foundation on which all the others are laid. So if, for instance, the economy is not growing, it's extremely difficult for a government, fiscal sector to be in a sound base. Because you can't keep taxing a declining economy. So I think, for me, the very first one he mentions, the diversity. And then you can see, I just gave you the indicator. Exports has become more concentrated, not diversified. And the production base. So I think for me, even though there are 5 categories that he gives, the base, and for me the most important, is the one about the production and diversity of the real sector of the economy.
It's key.
I think that is what everything sits on. If the economy is formalized, you talk about institutions. If the institutions are formalized, then it means that when the economy is growing, the economy can automatically generate more tax revenue. And all of those, it all hinges on the economy doing well. Every policy becomes very difficult if people are not getting employed, people are not working, the economy is not producing. All the others become mute. So I think that is where I will put more weight on that first one.
Speaking about building fiscal buffers, the finance minister has announced plans to increase Ghana's international reserves to 15 months of import cover by the end of 2028 under a new accelerated reserve accumulation policy. He said the policy is aimed at safeguarding macroeconomic stability while supporting long-term structural transformation. He knows that strengthening the country's reserve buffers would enhance Ghana's capacity to withstand external economic shocks. Is that a good way to go? Is that the right thing to do?
Yeah, I think I support it. I support it because the previous government, if I remember very well, somewhere 2021, made attempt to do that. Because
at the moment we are between 5 to 7 months
yeah,
of import cover.
Yeah, they made attempt to do that through gold, use gold to support, and at that time, USA. They they have over 8,000 tons of gold.
Yes.
But after US, I think the next country comes around 3,000, 2,000. And IMF even has over 2,000 tons of gold. Yeah. We go there always for them to help us, with foreign currencies. And they have, so if we have, you always have to use what you have, to get what you want, as we always say. And so if we have gold, and gold is so liquid. If BOG has 10 tons of gold that they want to sell today, just by a phone call, they can get somebody in Dubai, somewhere, a company, to buy.
Right.
Gold is liquid. And so it's not bad if you use that one, to build your reserves. And the only unfortunate thing is the inconsistencies of this government.
Okay.
Because even though 2021 was when the previous government put that policy together, BOG didn't start the process until June 2023 when we started the implementation of the credit extended facility. Because one of the indicators, the quantitative criteria, was that we should be able to push our reserves to the highest level. So I'm not surprised today we are doing so well, And what happened and that was one of the reasons why they didn't allow a BOG to pump more than 80 million. They placed a ban on that, and BOG never pumped more than 80 million dollars to the forest until after 3rd December 2024. And so the question I'm trying to say is that it was good, and because of that. At the time they started the implementation, in fact, when they started that very month they started, BOG started buying gold, June 2023. At that time, the total gold reserve we had was 8.78 tons from 1957.
Okay.
But the next 18 months or so, it increased. That is from June 2023 to December 2024. The reserve had gone to 30.5 tons.
Right.
The new government came, they saw it was good, and they also increased it to about 38.04 tons at the end of September last year. And we were all happy. Then we got up somewhere in January and we realized that the gold reserve had declined to 18.6. Now, we didn't understand. So some of us questioned why they have done that. Immediately they responded that it didn't make sense to keep dollars, gold, as reserves, because countries, our peers, they don't keep over 20 tons.
Yes.
So you explain, and everybody agreed. Oh, okay, you are a new government. As a new government, you may know more than what some of us know, even though it is said that when an individual, if an individual is charging it, if an individual, they say he who lay in the path does not know his back is crooked. It behoves on those of us what following.
Yes.
To
draw the person's attention.
Exactly. But it doesn't mean that we are always wiser than those, because they feel the heat. So they may know something that you may not know.
Okay.
And that's why we all kept quiet over this.
Right.
Then 2 weeks, 3 weeks after, we saw the finance minister back to the parliament now saying that they are going to buy 3 tons of gold every week. Bank of Ghana is going to, and so why? You've just told us that it was a bad decision. So that kind of inconsistency. So I don't even know what is going to happen with the so-called 3 tons that they are going to buy. Are they going to buy and sell, or what is it? I don't get it. They have to be consistent.
So are you?
They've been joking with Ghanaians.
Your point is,
they've been joking with us.
Are you buying gold to keep or you're selling? What's the policy?
Because if you look at the law, that's not what I see. I see that they are going to keep it there, because now, as part of the process, BOG boss cannot get up a day and say we are going to sell the gold.
Yeah.
They should do so with what? Permission from the government.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and so that I think Parliament.
Yes.
So that is very beautiful.
Okay.
And so that is to suggest that this time they want to pull the brakes. You know,
right.
but my worry is too inconsistent.
Okay.
Because I remember lawyer Edoji, is that the name?
Godwin Tamaklo.
Yeah. Educating Ghanaians where there's no need to keep the army gold reserve.
Okay.
And less than a month. The government that, you know, he's a leading member of that party and that government.
Okay.
The government comes out to suggest something that they want to do that is entirely
so
different.
we want to know which is which.
I mean,
Okay. So let me bring in our viewers just two messages.
Confused.
So Mansa Musa, who is a journalist based in the UK, he says that more let it be said and be acknowledged that we need not continue talking in circles. The great Osajifo Kwame Nkrumah gave us a template: means of production, manufacturing, means of distribution, storage and transportation, means of consumption. From this, the need for massive cultivation, processing, storage, cooperative shops, etc. Why we're still reading and studying George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Genghis Khan, while Nkrumah's books and ideology is bent and destroyed, all with pleasure. What is happening now in the Middle East is far worse than Russia-Ukraine war. The effects and impacts of Russia-Ukraine war was largely a Western construct that's creating the maximum hatred of Russia. Today, it is the USA doing the attack, so the Western pronouncement of its negative economic impact is being managed and even downplayed. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, Assalamu alaikum, my brother Moore. According to Dr. Donfair, the economy of Ghana at the moment is not resilient. Can he please tell us the reason it's not resilient? Because I totally disagree with him. This current leadership in government inherited a junk economy under the NPP, and as we speak today, the economy is rated as B-. The fact is, all micro indicators under the government is doing good, and the records are out there for all to see. Moreover, there's evidence out there that goes to show that economic management is under good economic management. And then finally, Carlos from Ododo Dio says that, hello, good morning, bro. Well, you read our messages. I want to send one. We respect this is not, okay. So this is actually a personal one. So Sam Apukeli, I want to end with this. Good morning, Moro. What's this thing about presidential staffers being responsible for regions? What would then be the role of regional ministers? It's unfortunate that this keeps being repeated by some notable MVP communicators. Also, it has been severally displayed by Honorable Felix Kwatofosu that government machinery budget went up because the emoluments of staff of the hitherto Ministry of Information has been absorbed into that of the president.